to the stream or whatever? My dad wanted to listen in.
Yeah. Hold up a sec. Here you go.
Okay. Alright, where'd you send it at? Alright, there you go.
Sacred Stoner's channel.
Alright.
Let's see, once this goes live on YouTube.
To listen in.
Yeah. Hold up a sec. Alright, here you go.
Okay.
We're live now, guys.
Alright, where'd you send it at? Alright, there you go.
Sacred Stoner's channel.
Live to the world. It's
Alright,
on YouTube.
Yeah, we're streaming it on YouTube.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I'm Corbus with Kurogane Gaming. Right now, today, we're going to be doing the Sacred Stones podcast for Fire Emblem 8. Let's go around and introduce ourselves, how we got into Fire Emblem, etc., etc. Go in whatever order you guys work out.
Alright, I'm Dave, also known as Runaway. I play competitive Smash. I got into Fire Emblem through Binding Blade. I saw the Roy DLC in Smash 4 got me interested. So then I tried Binding Blade on an emulator, and I really liked it. And I don't know, because I saw my friends playing Awakening, and I wanted to try out Roy's game. I enjoyed it a lot. And then I found Blazing Blade and Sacred Stones. Sacred Stones stuck with me. I played games past that, but Sacred Stones is the one that really stuck with me.
Alright. You want to go next, Ciara?
Yeah. I got into Fire Emblem in late 2016 as I was moving across the country because my friend, she was playing Fire Emblem Fates and I was watching over her shoulder and she's like, hey, you want to see something cute? And she showed me Kiragi, and that is basically the whole reason I bought Fire Emblem was so I could get Kiragi.
It's hot.
So, small children got you into a game series. Nice.
A grand reasoning.
I like small children, okay? They're cute.
See, it's not weird when she said.
It's not weird when it's a little boy. It's only weird if it's a little girl.
But I'm biting my tongue right now.
It's especially weird if it's Elijah, but he's a meme, so we don't talk about him.
Sorry if you hear my chihuahua in the background barking. It's a chihuahua. That would explain why it barks.
Why would you get Satan's puppy?
Chihuahuas are evil, man.
I don't know. Bear, come here. Bear, come here.
Alright, Q, you're up.
Alright.
I have to talk now?
Yes.
I found a game where I have to think about stabbing people, and I liked it.
Okay.
The story and the characters just kind of helped out with that.
Such a remarkable story. It brings a tear to my eye.
Hey, it's a game where I get to kill orphans. I'm in.
So what are those traits of a serial killer?
Doesn't matter. I got money out of it.
Alright, I guess I'll go next. Hard to follow that act right there, but I am Hunter Faust, otherwise known as Mr. Pockets. I run a gaming channel where I do horribly at everything I play. I got into Fire Emblem because my older brother told me I couldn't do it, and I couldn't play it at all, so I stole it and started playing it anyway. The first one I ended up stealing was Sacred Stones, in fact.
Oh, lucky.
What a legend.
Alright.
But he was right in the end because my 14-year-old ass was terrible and I got so many people killed.
Ouch.
Oh, don't worry. I can make it worse.
I'm 18 and can't even keep one unit alive for an entire game.
No, the strat is to emulate it and use save states every turn.
Dude, don't worry. I started playing Fire Emblem when I was like 12, and I played Radiant Dawn. Couldn't get past Chapter 6 because everyone but Ike was dead. And I said, this game's too hard, and tossed it.
It's a good thing Ike's the only unit you need.
Really?
No. It was the chapter with all the spear dudes, so I got, like, literally butt-fucked and died.
Ouch.
Alright.
I've been afraid of spears ever since.
I have Radiant Dawn, but I haven't finished it. I've had it since, like, December, and I've played, like, 2 chapters and haven't touched it since.
I'll buy it off you.
I've never played
Same.
Path of Radiance or Radiant Dawn.
You really need to get on that, Colby.
Like, I just don't have the money, and there's no, like, where I can get the games.
Emulate.
This entire thing's just been derailed.
Yeah.
Alright, hang on.
I saw Path of Radiance on eBay for like $92.
That's a
I
good
just- I
price.
just had it on my
Let's
V.
take care of these introductions before we get into buying things on eBay.
Kobe,
Right.
Steven,
Right.
who wants to go next? Kobe or Steven?
I'll
Steven.
take it. Alright. So, when I was a little kid, I was super into Shining Force on the Sega Genesis. And that's a strategy RPG. It was basically Sega's answer to Fire Emblem. And like most things, it didn't work out in the end. But what happened is I went to Target, and they had a Sacred Stones demo on sale. What that reminded me of was Shining Force, the game I sunk hundreds of hours into as a kid. So I bought it that day, and by I bought it that day, I mean my grandmother bought it that day. And then from Sacred Stones, I played Path of Radiance, because my brother had that. And from Path of Radiance, I got FE7, and then I got Radiant Dawn for my birthday when it came out. And from there, I've just gone through every single Fire Emblem. But Sacred Stones it just gets better the more I look back and replay it. Like
Dude, Sacred Stones is amazing.
It is.
And
Yeah,
and I mean,
so-
it's not just your classic case of a nostalgia boner when you go back and play a game that you really enjoyed as a kid.
It's genuinely good.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, Chorus, about Fire Emblem 7. It's not bad. Everyone shits on Lynn's story because it's genuinely bad. It's a slog. Go play the rest of it.
But hey, extra
I like Lynn's story, I just don't like the gameplay part of it.
Yeah.
I have one request. My dad is listening in, so if you could keep your language and swearing down a little bit, that would be appreciated.
No
So
problem.
can I swear less and say it louder?
No.
Okay, so like, what's the roof of swearing? Can I say fuck a lot?
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
You
Alright,
just
got
ruined
it.
all of our fun.
Fine, I'll resort to damn.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about like I don't know, random incest things, but no, I can't do that anymore.
Please do not.
No.
We're not
Do not
getting into that
incest.
side of Sacred Stones.
Kobe,
Oh, I
you're
know.
up.
It doesn't exist. It's just people looking for things that aren't there.
Thank
It's
you.
Get into introductions.
yes.
Yeah, let's try to get through the introductions.
No, we're spending 4 hours on this.
Dude, I don't even like 35 minutes.
4 hours on
Welcome to the
introduction.
introduction podcast, where we introduce ourselves and nothing else.
We haven't even talked about Sacred Stones yet.
Kobe, you're up.
Oh, okay. There's not much to say about me. How I got into Fire Emblem, it's kind of a long story, so I'll try to sum it up as short as I can. I first heard about Fire Emblem when I was playing Super Smash Bros. Melee, when I got Martha and Roy, and it's like I was like checking out like their models or whatever, and I was just like Japan only, aww. And then never again have I thought of Fire Emblem until Brawl, and I was just like, oh, there's another blue-haired guy, cool. Never thought about it again. And then 2015, it was either 2015 or 16. I went to a friend's house, and I seen a copy of Fire Emblem Awakening, and I was literally bamboozled. I was just like, whoa, wait, what? I thought this was a Japan-only game. And then again, I wasn't thinking that Ike was able to speak English, because it totally skipped my mind. But anyways, I was just like, hey, can I borrow this game? Sure. I borrowed it for like 2 years.
I just happened to never give it back.
It just happens to never give it back. I have my own copy of Awakening now. Anyway, yeah, after like I played Awakening, I seen it just so happened to be the E3 for Fates, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna get this. So got Fates. Not
Press F.
not too. I'm not too satisfied with what I got. Anyway, after that, I seen Sacred Stones and 7 on the Virtual Console, and I was gonna be like, I'm gonna get these, and then my brother's just like, no, they're old, they're gonna be crap. Little did he know, Sacred Stones. Little did he know, Sacred Stones became my favorite Fire Emblem.
He said Sacred Stones was crap.
I'll beat his
Well,
ass.
he said that he said that it will be crap.
Because it's an older
But I was
game.
like,
I mean, a trope of old games, you go back and you look at them and it's like, gosh, these guys are being corny. But if you go back and you look at Sacred Stones, you see that Lion is easily one of the best villains in the series.
Dude,
The best
Anyway,
villain in
alright.
Sacred
I'll
Stones
try
is Walter.
Gag or get lost, okay?
Gabber
Walter.
get lost.
Anyway,
Walter is
back to my story
Anyway,
that
yes.
I have yet to finish.
Hurry it up, Kobe.
Yeah. After Fate, yeah, my brother told me the whole song and dance. I didn't listen to him. I got Fire Emblem 7 at like a pawn shop. Played that, loved it, beat it. Then I got Sacred Stones for Virtual Console on Wii U, and that was when I fell in love with Sacred Stones. Like, it may not have been my first Fire Emblem game, but it's still my favorite one. And I also got Shadow Dragon for Virtual Console, and then I got Echoes, and then I got a bunch of emulators of of all the Fire Emblem games, but the Telia series.
You should really get on that sometime. Tellius has
And
an
that's how
amazing
we all
story.
became drug addicts.
But like, I got into it because I got Shadow
I
Dragon
got that.
not long
You're
after.
all being quiet because you know it's true.
Choking on ramen really hurt.
Stop choking on stuff.
Well,
No.
Kinky.
If you do it right,
No.
then it'll come out of your nose.
No, shut up.
it's time to
Never.
stop.
But
up.
we did almost get into a topic that was rather interesting. The villains of Sacred Stone. Because there's quite a few, actually.
And they're amazing.
Every
They
single
have-
one of them except Reed.
I'm just gonna say right now that Leon did nothing wrong.
He didn't do anything wrong.
He did a lot wrong.
No,
Like, I
he
make
did
that
not.
joke
He just
myself.
Alright,
No,
hold
the
on.
only-
Can I explain a plot point that a lot of people don't get?
Go
Alright.
for it.
sure.
Alright, the Leon on Ephraim's route and the Leon on Erica's route are different Leons. It's like almost a split
Yeah.
continuity. Like
Oh, no.
Listen up.
Hey, don't go no.
The Leon on Ephraim's route, right, is
Leon.
not fully possessed until that last moment in the game when Ephraim defeats him and the Demon King wells up in him. In Erica's route, he's fully possessed. Okay, I'm just making that clear now because that's not a plot point that's like very obvious unless you look into it.
It has another trait to it where the Lion, whatever you want to call him, in Ephraim's route, he's always been more of a rival to him because he likes his sister, and Ephraim's more of a problem. He's had a rivalry, he's had a friendship, all of that. He's always been crushing on Erica, so he's always nicer to her, tries to be a bit more careful, and even when he's possessed, he's still nice to her. And then he says, "You're an idiot," steals her shit, and kicks her to the curb.
Mood.
That's not entirely accurate, as the Leon and Erica's route is both possessed and not possessed at different times. And
The
then
one is still nice to him, the Demon King.
Because when Leon talks to Erica in Johanna Palace, he's himself. He's acting on his own will. We saw that when Kalik was killing Izmir, and Leon was trying to talk him out of it because he had possession of himself at the time. In Grotto, when Ephraim frees Noel, that's the Demon King talking to him. However, and then in the final boss, Leon is for Mortis when he's fighting Erica and talking to her. But he's himself when he's fighting Ephraim. Both routes have not possessed and possessed Leon. The reason people think that one has one and one has the other is when Leon comes out. As both routes make sure to show, for Mortis is a tricky dicky motherfucker, and Leon is trying to control it. He's just
Mortis is
failing.
amazing, let's be honest here.
Well, except for the fact that in Ephraim's route, late into Ephraim's route, it's, I think, chapter 18.
I'm only
the
on
one with
chapter
all the
15,
Gorgon
so I
eggs.
can't help.
The one late in Ephraim's route where Leon like freezes Ephraim and Ephraim taunts him to come kill him. Leon reveals like, I've just been pretending this whole time. Like I was not possessed. But in Erica's route, he never has such a moment because he's literally been like yeah, you see glimpses of his true self because he breaks through at some point throughout the story. But he's like it's like almost a progressive thing. Like the farther you get into Erica's route, the less control Leon has over his own body.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So I'm only on chapter 15. I can't say much for this, but from what I saw about Leon is that when he tried to revive his dad, that's the point when Formartis, whatever you say his name, took over. At that point is when he took over, because like before that Leon was different, but at that point is when he started the war. So I think that at the point when he tried to revive his dad and created the Dark Stone, that's when Formartis started taking over and controlling his actions and basically using Leon as a puppet to do stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly correct.
And Erica's right.
Okay.
Formartis directly possesses Ephraim. What am I saying? Leon. He directly possesses Leon and uses him to suit his dark designs. But in Ephraim's route, all Formartis does is tempt Leon into furthering his dark studies until the point where he breaks and opens himself up completely to the Demon King. Because he tempts him with power, and Leon complies.
Also slightly inaccurate, as in the Erica route, it's the same exact thing. In fact, the route where Leon admits that it's not Demon King didn't just straight up possess him, when he admits that it was his own insecurities and failures that Formartis latched onto, that's in Erica's route where he says that, not Ephraim's. It's the same thing in both routes.
After introductions, we just straight out talk about Leon.
It's a good talking point. Why the hell not?
Leon. Like, his name is Leon.
Okay, yeah.
Leon. I've always known him as Leon.
Let's talk about pronunciations for a sec, okay?
Okay.
Well, let's look at Heroes, because that's the best thing we have right now, okay?
Okay.
In Heroes, alright, so Erica did say Leon in her very first iteration, it's Leon, but both Legendary Ephraim and Amnesis Erica pronounce it Leon, so we should go with that, I'd say. And then Ephraim...
They also started pronouncing his name Leon at the time he was added to the game as well. So that's what I think as his...
Yeah, that's what's relevant, too. So, Ephraim... okay, so that's another thing. Erica's voice actress was kind of dumb when she first started, because she pronounced it Ephraim. Like, Erica's death quote is Ephraim, but Leon pronounces it Ephraim, Walter pronounces it Ephraim, Ephraim pronounces it Ephraim.
Correct.
I mean, the biggest thing is we're facing double translations here. Fire Emblem's a game that's inspired by a lot of European, quote-unquote, fantasy area stuff. So the names come from there, as we've seen for the plethora of characters amongst the series named after Viking Rune. But then that goes to Japan,
the entirety of the fucking jug draw thing is based off of Celtic and Irish with some Norse thrown in.
Yup. So we're facing a double translation as far as pronunciation goes, because it's then coming back to English, and here we are trying to say what they're saying, what someone else is saying.
They're trying to translate European to Japanese and then to English and keep consistency, which hardly ever works.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so Leon is up in the air, but Ephraim is an actual biblical name that has a direct pronunciation.
Yes.
But I'm not going to pick the whole thing.
I saw that as I was reading it the other day. Yeah, I read the Bible. Yes, I am a good child of God. I read the Bible.
Your name is Magvel's local Thot.
That is also...
Hey, wait a second. You haven't ever heard a horror go, oh God, oh God?
Oh my God. Cease.
Wow.
Cease.
Sorry.
Alright.
I had to bring that one to a head.
You had to have known that was going to happen. Stop. Crap, I forget your dad's name. I can't say all the weird stuff I want to say.
Okay, so I guess we could use all of...
One of my... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Corvus.
Okay, I was saying I guess we could use all that stuff reviewing around the plot and what happens with Leon and stuff as the game summary, since we kind of just skipped fucking everything.
Yeah,
what happens, the game.
I can summarize the game in my sleep.
Alright, I'm gonna try, and think, man, you can cover me, because it's been the last time I played Sacred Stones, a couple days ago, but I skipped all the cutscenes, because...
The last time I played that...
I skipped all the text and whatever, because I'm doing. I did a step run, so.
The last time I read through the story of Sacred Stones was about 2 hours ago when I'm playing the game. So, yeah, I'm playing a randomized run, and Erica's a Wyvern Lord with over 20 strength. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, 20 strength?
Yeah, I promoted her, and she has 21 strength as a level 1 Wyvern Lord. It's gotta admit. She has 0 resistance, but what does it matter?
Game accurate.
He has like 2 resistance, 8 defense, so Volter will make her his bitch.
Not if she has the first attack. But if he has the first attack, then yes.
She'll feel the full force of that spear.
Alright, I can go
You
into
can
the game.
stuff that,
I'm just
Quill.
saying, I'm pretty confident in my ability to talk about the game.
Go for it.
Alright, so, it starts out, Grotto invades Renee completely unprovoked for seemingly no goddamn reason. Erica's in the capital. Her father tells her to leave with Seth and Franz. He's gonna stay so he can figure out why the hell this happened. She gets to Frelia. She escapes with Seth. She has a brief moment about, like, holy shit, I just killed a dude. Then she gets to Frelia. King Hayden tells her Thedo died. Ephraim, sorry, it's going to take me a bit to get right, is still in Grotto territory, waging guerrilla warfare against Grotto. She's like, I'm going to go help him. Everyone tells her, that's a bad idea. She's like, that's my brother. He's in danger. Got to go help him. She cuts through some bandits. Seth was really funny about her bracelet. He really wanted it back. Erica's like, why? He doesn't tell her. Erica trusts him. And then chapter 4 happens. The monsters of the Demon King are back, and everyone's really confused. Of course, those who know the plot knows, because Leon destroyed one of the Sacred Stones. And because the monsters are back, everyone's like, well, fuck. Everything's bad. We should just go back to Frelia. Erica's like, well, if we're here fighting monsters, what does that mean for Ephraim? We gotta go help him. Chapter 5 rolls around. We get a brief thing with Glenn and Cormag showing Glenn's doubt about that Vigard might not be such a good guy after all. Then Chapter 5X rolls around. Ephraim is with Orson, Ford, and Kyle. Guerrilla warfare, but they're running out of supplies because they can't stop anywhere to stock because they always have to be away from the villages as to not harm them. So Ephraim's intent is to, while a majority of the forces out in the field, go into Renval and kick their ass. Unfortunately, Ephraim falls right into the trap of Trotto, who wanted him to do that because Orson was on his side and lured Ephraim into a trap that Ephraim manages to escape from the same way he was fighting that war the whole time, by using a terrain and small unit. So then Chapter 6 rolls around, and Novala threatens to straight up kill a family to get Erica's bracelet. And Erica, because she doesn't understand the value of the bracelet, because Seth hasn't said anything, gives her the bracelet. Gives him, Novala, the bracelet. And she also remarks that even when Novala threatens to kill the kid anyway, this is the first time Erica's like, fuck you. You know, I'm trying to be nice, but if this is really the piece of shit you are, I'm going to kill you. And then she kills Novala, gets the bracelet back, and Seth explains that the bracelet is actually a sort of key to prevent the Sacred Stone of Renee from being taken into enemy hands. You hold up the 2 bracelets in the Chamber of the Kings, and the door opens to it. So now Erica knows why the bracelet's important. She gets to Renval, invades Renval, and when she's inside the castle, she runs into Orson, who makes up a lie about trying to escape. Though Erica believes him, because he's a trusted knight of Renee for years, she's probably known him his entire life, Seth is much sharper than her, and realizes all the inconsistencies and lies in Orson's story. Why did he leave Ephraim there to die if he tried to escape? Orson's first instinct should be to help Ephraim. Why is he armed if prisoners don't have weapons? The lies pile up, and Orson admits his betrayal, and Erica is caught in an ambush that Ephraim goes back.
Erica wouldn't have thought about any of that anyways.
Erica's dumbass.
She's pretty naive, and it's understandable.
So,
the easiest way to sum up the whole story before the split of the twins is basically Erica saying, "LOL, watch me."
I wish you were wrong, but you're not.
Alright, so they reconvene, and then the story splits into 2 routes. Erica's and Ephraim's. I'm gonna go with Erica's, because I've already been talking about Erica this whole time.
Alright, I'll do Ephraim's then.
Okay, so
I'm only on chapter 15 in both routes, so...
Erica...
sorry, go ahead.
So when they get to Frelia, Hayden reconvenes. While they're all in there, Grotto has invaded the Tower of Valmy and wiped out Frelia's forces, and Kalik has destroyed the stone. Now, with that happening, they realize, okay, shit's desperate. So they decide to split 3 ways. Ephraim going south, charging Grotto. Inez is going to go to Johanna, and Erica is going to go but to Roston by ship. The 3 of them split up, and when Erica goes to the port, she's attacked by mercenaries from Carsino. She then realizes that the mercenaries of Carsino have allied with Grotto because they're the bigger, badder dudes. It makes sense. However, that also means Inez just ran headfirst into enemy territory. So Erica goes to save him. And this completes a sort of mini character arc where Ephraim needed to save her, and now she's the one saving someone else in Inez. So Inez has his big grand spiel. Those of noble duty don't shrink from what they're born. Garrick and Tethys call him out on his shit, saying he's just trying to get them out alive. And they stay with him. Erica comes in, saves Inez, and once they're there, Ewan shows up. And Ewan decides, hey, I know the super cool secret route through the mountains to Caer Plen. It can get you right to Johanna. And Erica's like, true shit?
You're pronouncing names in a weird way, and it's taking me like a while to figure out who you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Ewan and Inez admittedly got me as well. I called him Ines and Ewan, but it's
Sam,
Ewan.
I always call him Ines.
I always pronounce it Innes.
Dude, it's Ines. Let it be Ines for simplicity.
So Ewan is leading them through the mountains. They run into some monsters, run into Larshell, who they don't know is a princess. It's obviously it's a princess. So her and Dozla join up. And when they reach Caer Plen, it's all the monsters. We get world building about the Great Dragon, who was the 6th dude who helped seal away the Demon King originally, alongside the 5 people who had found the 5 nations. So after Caer Plen, it turns out that Glenn went to assault Erica and kill her, as per Vigard's orders. However, when Erica approached him and spoke like, listen, I don't care what lies they're spreading about me, but I gotta do this mission, and I will kill you if you try to fight me. Glenn's like, hold the dough. I don't think she's as bad as everyone's telling me. So Glenn's like, I'm gonna go back to Grotto, and I'm gonna confront Vigard about this. If you're lying to me, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And Erica leaves. However, as Glenn tries to leave, Volter puts his dick in this whole situation, and is just like, you're betraying the nation. I'm going to kill you for treason. And he does, which is hilarious because Volter technically does nothing wrong there. Until after murdering Glenn.
Guys, Volter is hands down the best villain in the entire series.
On that, but he's in my top 5 for sure.
I like Volter, but Leon exists. So,
but
as Volter kills Glenn, Volter decides, I just killed a guy, but what if I did even more with this? So he trudges Glenn's dead body all the way back to Grotto just to show it to Cormag, Glenn's brother, and just say, oh yeah, Erica just stabbed this bitch. And Cormag, in a heat of anger, flies off, not caring about is Volter telling the truth? I don't give a shit. So
there was some necrophilia there too.
If it comes from Volter, it's probably not the truth.
Yeah, but Cormag's too pissed off to understand that. So he reaches Erica, and she's fighting Ias, a close friend of Calic, and you can maybe assume Joshua's, but they don't have any dialogue together. And Calic leaves Ias there, and Erica finds Cormag in that battle, and when she talks to him about Glenn's doubts and feelings about Vigard, Cormag recognizes that as the truth, and then he realizes, between Erica and Volter, who's more likely to lie to me? And he realizes it's Volter. So Cormag joins Erica with the intent to kill Volter. He isn't there for honor like he is in Ephraim's route. He is just there to kill Volter. That's all he wants. So...
Wait.
And Ias also serves as an important milestone in Calic's character, because he's also expanded upon in Erica's route over Ephraim's, is Erica route Calic. If you spare Ias, which no one ever does because he has a sweet, sexy night crest that you want, but if you actually leave him alive, Ias confronts Calic and is like, we never got your reinforcements, but they were never going to be there, weren't they? And Calic's just like, yeah, you got me. I'm a sack of shit. Calic's just like, I want to progress farther beyond where I was born, the shit heap of Johanna. I want to be something more than that. And though Ed does express, sorrow that he had to leave Ias to die, he admits it's a stepping stone. Calic needs more power, and he's not afraid to trample people in his way. So if you spare Ias, he still confronts Calic, and Calic kills him in front of Johanna Palace. Ias cannot come out alive. So then you reach Johanna Palace. You get there. Ishmir is under siege from Calic, Leon, and Carl, a former soldier in Johanna's army. Carl betrays Johanna because he was in love with Ismir and he wanted her above all else. Ismir points out his bullshit, like, you really think this is going to get me to be with you? Carl's a little cuckoo in the head. He doesn't get it. So you go in, you kill Carl, and then it cuts to Ismir and Calic. And Calic, to his credit, does give Ismir plenty of time to be like, here's the stone. And Calic would have let her live. He stresses this point that he will let her live, but she refuses multiple times. So Calic kills her because he realizes the stone was just on her anyway. So Calic takes it, destroys it, and then leaves. And as Ismir is dying, she manages to have a brief moment with her son, Joshua, and Joshua reveals, hi, you remember Lewin from Fire Emblem 4? That's me. So Joshua admits that as he was stuck up in the palace life, he could never figure out how to be a king. He never was someone who could rule people just stuck up in a palace all day. So what he decides to do is 10 years prior to the start of Sacred Stones, so we have to assume he was just a preteen when he did this. He just leaves. He decides to go out in the world, and there he becomes a mercenary with Calic. And the two of them run about the world just being mercenaries, and Joshua admits, I've learned a lot. I understand how to rule my people now, but it's come at a cost that's incredible to me, and he mourns his mother's death, though he doesn't have much time to mourn. As it turns out, Grotto has set the entire palace on fire. Though everyone escapes, now it's time for Grotto's Evil Plan Part 2 Electric Boogaloo, because now they're outside of Johanna Palace, in the middle of the fucking desert, surrounded, as Calic and Valter team up in what is the only difficult chapter in all of Sacred Stones, Scorch's favorite, by the way.
That would explain that chapter. I have been stuck on chapter 15 since, like, November.
Dude, that chapter is terrifying.
That's the only difficult chapter in Sacred Stones. If you can get through that, it's... Yeah. But, so Scorched Sand happens, and this is where, like, Ephraim comes in from the south with Dussel and Noel. And the cool thing about Sacred Stones is you have no idea why the hell Dussel's there. Like, you were like, last you saw of Dussel, he was evil. He was an enemy. So you don't know why the hell he's there. So you have your army in there, and this is where you get the end. And on Erica's route, I believe it's either Leon talks to Calic or Reeve talks to Valter. And I think in Erica's route, Leon talks to Calic, and Leon's like, why are you here? Like, do you have anyone, like, you fight for? And Calic says, I was friends with this guy called Joshua, and those times were nice, but I want to move beyond that. Because Calic is the very creation Joshua wants to stop. Because Joshua said his land produces a bunch of lawless pieces of shit because Johanna is a really shit place to live. And Calic is like the living testament to that. Which is why his friendship with Joshua is so ironic. Calic is the very thing Joshua wants to stop. Because he's created, because Johanna being a piece of shit, Calic didn't think that was fair. He was born into a life he had no control over. So he becomes a mercenary and gains power. Then he becomes a general in Grotto's army, and he gains power. And Leon's just like, you're not going to stop. You want to kill me and become king. Calic he can't answer that because it's true. And Leon's just like, I don't care. If you do your job, I don't care what your fantasies are. So Leon leaves. And then when Joshua and Calic fight, if you choose to do so, they have a conversation, and it's almost unsettling how casual it is. Like, it's tough to tell if Joshua's just so angry he can't see straight, or if he's so, like, understanding of the Calic's lifestyle that he really doesn't think any ill of Calic killing his mother. He's just like, all right, you killed her. You're dead.
Gonna do what mercenaries pay for. Joshua understands that.
I have to kill you now. Don't take it personally.
Yeah, that is such a strong line.
Such a good line.
That line's like, oh.
Mm-hmm. And there's also a bit of character growth for Erica in this chapter, as if she attacks Valter She's not afraid of him anymore. She doesn't have to cower behind Seth. She says, I'm going to kill you, you sick son of a bitch.
Remember to always kick your rapist's ass.
So she
Wasn't
gets...
Vulture kicked out of the army, like, twice because of that?
Not... What kicked him out, that's a spiel I can go into right now, I suppose. So, Vulture was a general alongside Dussel and Glenn. Selena was not a general yet. So...
I thought it was Dussel.
Vulture, while he wasn't, like, a goody two-shoes, he wasn't a bad guy. He did his job. The problem is, in the heat of battle, his lance broke. So he decided, fuck, I need a new weapon, and he took a weapon from Dussel. Now, the weapon he took from Dussel was a cursed lance that lets out the inner feelings of bloodlust and, like, anger and shit. And this is what's implied from Cormac and Dussel's conversation. Vulture, it wasn't that the lance possessed him or he was possessed like a demon. It was very similar to Leon, where he didn't try to fight it. He let that bloodlust come out, and even though he long since put the cursed lance down, in such a spree of bloodlust, actual lust, and just pleasure, he didn't want to stop.
It just, like, corrupted him.
He was merciless. He slaughtered even defenseless and fleeing soldiers and got kicked out of the army. That was his backstory. So they go back to Renee. It's Erica and Ephraim. They go back, and they realize that while they were gone, Orson was crowned king of Renee. And he's done nothing. Bandits have ravaged the countryside. The monsters are still a goddamn thing. Orson's done nothing because it's revealed that the reason he betrayed them is because Reeve and Leone brought back Monica, Orson's dead wife. And that completely threw him off. Like,
okay,
you might
that's like
notice
the
that
third Monica I know now. Why are there so many Monicas?
it's a common name. So, this is one of the really interesting things. When you fight with Orson as an ally unit in Chapter 5X, and you fight him as a boss, his portrait's different. His Chapter 16 boss portrait, his face is much longer, he's much more wrinkly, and his eyes are emotionless. The Orson you fight in Chapter 16 is a husk of a man. He's not even really there. And when you fight him, an interesting tidbit...
No emotion.
Too personal, dude.
Everyone, like, gives him some respect. Kyle and Seth still refer to him as Sir. Erica tries to understand why. Kyle refers to him as Sir Orson. Ephraim is the only one that doesn't. Ephraim offers him no kindness and just says, that's my father's throne. You don't have a right to sit there. And it's revealed, and this is where Ephraim's route would come in handy for you to know this. When Leon and Reeve bring people back from the dead, they're not really back. They're just sort of puppets. Ephraim realized this when Noel explained it with regard. And the chilling thought and the realization Ephraim makes is that Orson didn't really care. He was just so lost in the grief of losing his wife and looking back on his life and realizing how shallow it was to fight for everyone except himself, that Orson was just like, I don't care anymore. And when he had the puppet of his wife, who could only mutter the word darling, he was alright with it. He was 100% alright with that, and took that to his grave. Then, Chapter 17 happened. If I'm going on too long, just let me know. You can say something.
Brief summary.
I gotta leave in like a couple minutes, so I do want to say one thing.
Okay, go on.
It's just like a difference between Erica's and Ephraim's route that I think really makes Erica's route feel kind of second thought. Because I think Erica's route's great for like building the world of Magvel and really being able to recognize like what is going on in the world. But you got to admit, when Chapter 15 comes around in Erica's route, and you're waiting, like Erica's desperate for Ephraim to come in with his two buddies to come save her, that kind of throws you off a bit. But in Ephraim's route, when you have this whole giant band, like you have this giant army coming in Chapter 15 to save Erica and her two buddies, it just feels a lot more realistic.
Some of the final games, Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn managed to highlight this better. Your army isn't just
it's not just what you
33 units. So Erica likely had an army that's more than Inez and Saleh. You just don't see them. Same with
Wait, how did you just pronounce his name?
Select.
And
His
that's
name is Selah. His name is Selah.
I like
His name is
that
benched.
Why would you bench Salah when he's one of the best units in the game?
Because he's one of the best units in the game.
I'm gonna use that from now on.
The best mage.
Dude, he's like pent.
Fun fact. So, Selah has 5% higher growth and everything than Pent. I use Pent, I don't use Selah.
Well, interesting.
Because he's good, and that makes it too easy, so fuck him.
Everyone in Sacred Stones is good if you want to use them. That's like one of the good things about it. Like even Amelia, for how much the fandom shits on her, if you actually train her up, she makes a good paladin.
Oh, when it comes to characters, you're gonna hate me so much because I don't use anyone.
Amelia is really good, and she's one of my favorite units.
I skipped a day of school just to cap all of Amelia's stats and get her to fight me.
I mean, yeah, I do that for Noel because I love him. But anyways, yeah, I wouldn't call the Erica route an afterthought because, quite honestly, to me, a Frames route is the afterthought.
Hello. He's the one who's taking the shot. He's the one who's going to Grado to sort this shit out. Like,
You guys are gonna start.
If I
That
sort
feels
this
like
shit
the real
out,
route
you
to
mean
me.
fuck everyone with the broadside of a spear? You got Ephraim's route pretty good. It's
Like,
pretty
yes,
Guerrilla
Ephraim's
Tactics, the Ephraim edition, and I absolutely loved Ephraim's route. I don't mean to cut in here, but I've been like silent for 20 minutes now.
Erica doesn't even accomplish her mission.
Don't worry, you're good cutting in this brief summary that's been like half an hour.
I told you I know this game like the back of my hand. There's a reason. Literally,
Oh, we didn't doubt that.
We didn't doubt that, Steven.
Yeah, but the thing is, Erica and Ephraim's routes are both really good. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
The thing is Erica's route just, I feel, ties into the whole theme of Sacred Stones better. But I also feel as though Ephraim's route, it goes into his facade of perfection more, which I really do like. But yeah, Corv, that meme is a goddamn classic. Like,
Meme.
both of them.
Speaking of Amelia,
They do.
Wait, is that a meme? I thought that was the truth.
0 losses.
Also, I just realized this meme's a sack of shit because they buffed up everything,
Yeah,
but they haven't given Amelia a pair of boots.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
I
That's
never
the one
noticed the
thing I
lack of
noticed is,
boots.
like, everything maxed out. Not the boots. Still moves 5 spaces. It's like, oh, okay. Super strong. Flaw can't move much.
She's super strong, but she's barefoot.
She doesn't need to move. As soon as she steps on the battlefield, it explodes.
Big boom.
You're not wrong.
And then, like, anytime I go on any of the groups on Facebook, I always see, Amelia's a shit unit, you should feel shit if you like using her or think she's good. And then I see stuff like this, and I'm like...
Oh, cool. This little girl just stabbed the demon in the dick, and he died.
In an efficiency route, you will never see Amelia because, yeah, any unit can be good if you train them, but you don't train Amelia. You don't train Ross. Like if you grind them, sure they're good, but
Ross could be the best pirate.
yeah,
As Fire Emblem
Ross is
goes,
the
there's
first
a lot of units that get
Being a pirate is so magically.
Wait,
Do not.
who's
As
wrong?
Fire Emblem goes, there's a lot of units that start off and don't grow fast. They either start off really weak and they grow massively, or they start off weak and they stay weak. There's a way to get around all that, but yes, there's different ways people run. There's efficiency routes, there's super mega hard mode, I hate myself, this is worse than Dark Souls routes, and then there's guys that want to play the game.
Guys, I feel bad. I forgot who Ross is. Who's Ross again?
He's got
Ross is experiencing some loss.
Stop.
Is
Oh,
this loss?
yeah, okay, I remember. I killed him because I was having trouble recruiting Joshua, keeping everyone alive.
See, my problem is,
Do you
whenever I
get
play
whips?
Fire Emblem, I go
Oh, God.
100% no death runs. And I keep
Same.
having to reset in the chapter I am on Sacred Stones because Ross keeps fucking dying. And I'm like, dude, you're a trainee. I can make you good if you just fucking live more than one hit.
I
Okay.
don't know how to pronounce it.
Just remember, kill his dad.
I don't really mean to brag, but like
Damn.
normally when I like play Fire Emblem, I try to like not have my units die at all, and for the most part, I tend to do very well at it. Like I don't let the units die unless it's like a later chapter, like when you get the best druid in the game, which is Owain, however you want to say his name.
It's about calculated risk.
See, all y'all are pansies. I have killed him for 2,500 gold.
Alright, I gotta go. I gotta dip. Work time. Alright, see you guys.
Yeah, we can see.
One thing I do want to remark about the Joshua chapter, I'm gonna kill Ross. You're gonna kick yourself for not knowing this. Joshua will never attack Natasha. If you move her into his range, he will not move to attack her. So
Wait a second, that's not well known?
That's
No, it's
that's
not
the chapter I'm on, and
actually.
I figured out because of his interactions
He
in the
won't
story
attack
before
her
the
if you
chapter
put
that
her
he
in
wouldn't
his
attack her,
range.
but
Nope. The guys around him will, but but they come to you and their movement range is ahead of Joshua. So you kill them,
So
move
I
Natasha
feel
up.
really extremely stupid now. Holy
Don't worry,
crap.
a lot of
Don't worry, you're used to that.
A lot of people, because I believe Joshua is the only one of that archetype to do it. Because I believe Navarre will still attack Kaida. I believe Zahark. Actually, I think Zahark's also like that. I don't think he moves out to attack.
Zihark will not
Hey.
attack Lagu's characters, and Navarre does attack Sheeta. I can confirm both.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
I can 100% confirm both of those.
Sorry.
I lost
Yeah, Sheeta.
Sheeta in my playthrough of Shadow Dragon. I lost her because I tried to recruit Navarre and he just got a critical on her. I was so upset.
I've never
The
used
first time I
that.
played Shadow Dragon, I did the exact same thing, and I was all like, "Oh, come on!"
Navarre kind of became my best unit in that game.
Navarre's an edgy
How do you
boy.
manage to use him? How do you manage to use, like, freaking Myrmidons? I could never do it. Their attack's too low.
Oh, Myrmidons are my fucking
Oh my
favorite
god.
units.
Lautrec.
Guys,
Brandy Shadow Dragon, brand new, never used. She bought it for me, like, just this year. I was like, where did you even find this?
Guys, I'm about to hurt all of you on a personal level. Up until I replayed Sacred Stones last year, I had never used a Myrmidon before in my life. Or Swordmaster.
Oh,
I mean, with the exception of Rutger in FE6, Myrmidons are just. Why would you use
I didn't even use him.
Now, I'm going to cut in again on this one because
Myrmidon.
we touched in on one of my favorite topics because, as I mentioned, I played Sacred Stones when I was 14. You know what else happens when someone's 14? They're a fucking edgelord is what they are.
I thought you were about to say puberty, and I was scared of where this conversation was going.
No, that's a different story that I will not ever bring onto the Ayfew cast. Okay, we don't need to go into that nightmare. But I was an edgelord. So if you bring me up to this thing, you bring me to these people that are these bright, shiny characters. I had a huge crush on Erica. I mean, I don't know anyone that can't. I mean, look at that. Yeah.
My little cousin had a crush on Erica.
I don't blame you for that. Erica's really beautiful.
her art in Heroes too is just fucking amazing in both iterations.
Guy,
Yep.
that's right, guys.
But
You know what my little cousin's first word was?
Erica.
What?
Erica.
Kobe, post the picture that you sent me before of him hugging the screen.
But yeah, with that, I then get introduced to, well, fucking Joshua. I mean, overall, everything about him up front screamed to my stupid fucking teenage self that he was a straight up badass. And then Marissa comes along as well.
Guys,
But
look at the
those
photo
two
we
units
just sent.
became my favorite. That's adorable.
Oh my god.
Aww, it's so precious.
I know.
So small and is already selected.
He's become such a weeaboo at such a young age.
I'm proud.
He's got
Literally,
a
that name
life for his life.
That name right there, Erica, that's his first word.
He'll never look at 3D girls again.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so, overall, unit favoritism is a big thing throughout the Fire Emblem series that I actually really like, because if you pick a unit type you like and go with that, I mean, yeah, you'll have bent teams, but it caused me to love the Myrmidon, the Assassin, the Sword Master classes, a lot more than quite a few other ones. So I was stacking up my usage of Joshua much more than anyone else.
Well,
I
my
have a
thing with
story.
unit. Oh, go ahead, Kobe.
Like, I'm not going to tell this story, but I will mention that I will have a story to say once we get to the Awakening podcast.
All right. Well, my thing with
Yo,
unit
can I hop in on the
favoritism
Awakening
is.
podcast too?
You want to get on the Awakening one too?
Yeah,
All right, sure.
Awakening was fun.
My thing with unit favoritism is, yeah, again, I started off Fire Emblem when I was like 12 or 13, and Shadow Dragon came out. So I saw Navarre, and I'm like, yo, this dude's a straight up badass. I should use him. So yeah, well, I was an edgy little shit when I was a kid too. So.
So
but,
was
like,
I. Don't worry.
The only classes I.
It's a phase everyone's gone through, and Chunibyo.
Yeah.
According to everyone, I'm still edgy.
Yeah.
Same.
No, you're just an
unit
ass,
favoritism-
but people can stand you sometimes.
Hey, it still works.
But like,
I'm not
I
afraid.
didn't-
I had
just
this
let
thing where I didn't.
Dungeons and Dragons character named Ragnarok that's a black dragon right now. Don't worry about my edgeness.
I've been an edgelord since I was 12, and I regret every second of it.
Same.
Your regret feeds me.
But like, I had this thing with unit favoritism where I would never use your standard infantry axe users for some reason, or most cavaliers, because I mean, they just seemed kind of bland for me. I don't know why, but within the last couple of years, I've gotten around to getting more variation on my team.
Okay, the units that I have and have not used will physically hurt you, but we'll get into that later.
I think my favorite class, all in all, is probably either the mage class or the wyvern rider class.
I have never used a wyvern rider besides Churchy.
I usually don't use them, but I think they're really cool. I just like, it's a dragon. A dragon.
Okay.
Who wouldn't love it?
I love, like, okay, you know me. You know me or you don't know me. I can't talk today. Oof.
Today?
Lack of sleep lately.
That's why you fix your
my
damn
favorite-
sleep schedule, Kobe.
Yeah,
What
I
is
stayed
a
up for
sleep
48
schedule
hours
anyways?
earlier.
Why sleep when you could stay up and play Danganronpa and Fire Emblem? I mean, seriously.
Anyway, my favorite class is, like, I really like the Myrmidon Swordmaster, but there will be times where I like using, the Wyvern units, and the occasional Pegasus Knight, Florina.
Florina's
my
it's time to start
Fire
the
Emblem
game.
character.
I have never used a flyer in Fire Emblem besides Churchy or Shares or however you want to pronounce her name.
Shares.
Wow.
Sure.
See, I just completely bench her. I don't even know why. I just completely bench her.
So it's like, y'all talk about like Har, Florina, any of the Pegasus Knights, Paula, Catria, S, Cormag, whatever. I have never raised them a level.
Oh my god, dude, you need to put some time into Har. Har is a fucking god.
I mean, I would if I have the game. Okay, actually, no. There was one time.
Radiant Dawn. Hear about it 11.
There was one time 2 years ago where I did, in fact, use Florina, and she ended up maxing out everything, which I thought was terrifying. But that was replaying Blazing Sword my 7th time.
My unit favoritism is usually Dark Mages are my absolute favorite, but after Radiant Dawn, I don't like Tharja. I do like Henry though, and I like Nyx. But for the most part, I just like the lore of dark magic in the GBA games, because every single person who uses them is
Nurgle.
depressing as shit. Like, you have Canis, who willingly acknowledges that his pursuit of knowledge and dark magic is going to cost him his life, and yet, even knowing that, his curiosity propels him deeper. You have Ray, who just wants to use dark magic as a means to destroy and to protect those he cares about, also gladly knowing how terrible of an art it is. You have Nine, a woman who's so lost in the arcanic arts, she's willing to kill an innocent child like Fa, though she later realizes that that's wrong. Nine, Canis' mother. She's from
Oh.
Yeah. I did a
I never
review
got
on her.
that far in Blazing
Can I
Blade
mute?
yet. Or Blade and Blade. The Binding Blade.
Yeah.
Blade.
She's an incredible character, but she's a dark character to boot. And then you have Sophia, who uses dark magic. Yeah, who uses her dark magic due to her draconic blood, and even though she knows she could have a happier life if she wasn't part dragon, she willingly admits that she does not want to be any other way than who she is. Then you have FE8 and Noel, and going into Noel requires me to go into the entire lore of Leon and the Darkstone and the impending apocalypse in Grotto, but you have Noel, who saw the destruction of Grotto not from the War of the Stones, but from a terrible earthquake that's going to entirely wipe it out, and in fear resigned himself to dying in execution. He didn't want to rebel against the future he had foreseen. He didn't think he could, but through talking to Dussel or Natasha, he realizes that maybe there is something he can do for the future. And then you have Peleus.
Oh, Peleus. Don't get me started on Peleus.
Yeah.
We're going way off the Sacred Stones, by the way.
Yeah.
We're going into the lore of the units now, spanning the whole fucking franchise, and I'm perfectly fine with this because it's interesting, so.
Yeah. So Ewan, though he can become a dark mage, he definitely, like, canon makes you want him to make him a sage. I make him a druid because I like the dark magic.
Ewan would make the best druid.
Yeah. Noel actually makes a really good summoner. I think that's a really good class that I'm really upset that never really took off after Sacred Stones. Like, Echoes kinda had one, kind of, the Cantors.
Like, I kind of have a little complaint about Sacred Stones, and that's for, like, unit-wise. Like, not like a character, but like classes specifically. I used to have 3. Hello, Kitty. I used to have, like, 3, but now I could only think of 2 of them in my head. And that is the Dancer and the Summoner.
What about them?
Like, the only problem I have with the Summoner is that, well, it's nice that you got, like, alright stats. You can, like, fend and fight yourself or whatever, but the things you summon are so, like, weak. If only they could be, like, a little bit stronger.
You see, they kind of buffed that with certain classes and Echoes. They buffed that with certain classes and Echoes. Like, you've got Jenny, she just summons normal, like, infantry lances, but then you've got the DLC Guru class where they summon fucking monsters.
I would argue that the summons aren't supposed to do anything. They're meat shields. You summon them to bait an enemy attack away from units that actually matter, and then go kill the caught out of position enemy. Like, the summons aren't meant to damage.
That's exactly the purpose of all the normal summons and Echoes that aren't from the Guru DLC class, really.
There's the Dancer. Now, I like the Dancer class very much. It has a very good use.
Never used them.
But the problem is, like, you got, I'm not sure about, Binding Blade, but I think that can be a problem with Binding Blade as well. And, because in FE7, like, Ninian has all these, like, Ninian or Nils, whoever you want to use, has, like, the little, like, support things, like, that will boost attack, defense, resistance, or, you know, magic, or, you know what I mean. And then, like, the Dancers in Awakening can actually fight with the sword and stuff like that.
Yo, don't knock Olivia. She can become a freaking badass in Awakening with enough babying.
It's, I know what you're about to ask, and it's the same with Binding Blade. Lalum and Effin also cannot fight back, nor can Rayson, Leanne, or Raphael.
Yes, but the Laguz Herons can do an AoE dance, which makes it even more worth not being able to fight back.
Yeah, like, I kind of like what they did in Raid Dawn. Rayson can only do one at a time, but he has the best stats and durability of the 3. Leanne can do it in a line, but she's the frailest. And Raphael can do all 4 at once, but he's crippled, so he has less move. It was like, which is your best trade-off?
I like that train of thought, actually.
Oof, you've created a vortex or something like that.
Alright, so, speaking of god characters, Erica's Refine in Heroes got absolutely broken. I made a dual phase god that I'm working on.
Dude, broken isn't even the right word for it.
I am so happy Erica's good. I used her when she was super strong, when she came out, when she was weak as fuck, when better bots got introduced, and now when she's a top tier buff bot. You can run her in Horse and Armor Emblem if you really wanted to.
I don't know why
you would run. Has crippled the game.
I don't know why you would run Erica over the Black Knight or like what's the good reds with Reinhardt, but like you can. It's something you can do if you really want to.
Steven, check out my Erica.
Give me un momento, and you will be checking out the my Erica.
Give her Fury.
She has Fury,
yeah,
actually.
She actually really needs Fury. Her,
she has Fury, but this is my dual phase build until she gets Ether. I just still need feathers for it.
This is just mine.
That's all right.
It's actually very similar.
The only difference is that this one has Fury and
Savage Blow in a different dual rally.
Yeah. Savage Blow is good. I'm going to have to say I'm liking this Erica better than Corvus.
Well, I got excited because she got demoted to the 3-star pool, and I was fucking screaming because I can finally make her a +10 easier. But I have gotten 10 3-star Marth in a row.
I do want to say is that I was so I have 200 orbs right now because I was saving for Finn because I really liked him. He's Temptress Trial, he's free. Alright, I'll blow all my orbs on Leaf, get some red orbs, you know, get some Ericas. He was my free summon. So I'm sitting at 200 orbs just like, I want to spend my orbs on you, but I don't want that Reinhardt that much.
The Reinhardt potentially broken.
Give your orbs to me.
No, what if Magvel character in a bikini? I want my seasonal Seth.
Do they pronounce it Leaf or Leaf?
On Fire Emblem Heroes right now. I got a new phone and forgot the password to the account that I have my Fire Emblem Heroes linked to. So I lost my 5-star Leon with close counter. Or distant counter, I think. Whatever.
I'm so sorry, Ciara.
To make Florina a 5-star. Like, it took me so long to get Florina, because I kept getting, like, fucking Oboros and Parries and shit like that. It's like, oh, can I have Florina?
Yeah.
I have 6 Ericas and I've never raised one of them.
You should probably get on that.
I shouldn't because she's incredibly low on the priority list.
Oh yeah, you've got all your meme builds first.
Top.
Like, I have like 300,000 worth of feathers before I even think about Erica.
Rip.
Yeah.
Also, can we just talk about how freaking broken she is when supported with Soth and used with Soth? Like, this is my Soth, and she gets an effective +12 to every stat when you incorporate the spurs from being nearby Soth and the enemy's debuffs.
My problem is I never pulled a Soth, so
I never did either.
Keep in mind that I don't have heroes anymore, so I can't really go talk too much about heroes.
Soth is just fodder for me.
That's really sad because no dagger unit should have fucking 59 attack.
Hey man, he's got to protect Micaiah. Remember
that's skills that I want on so many other people.
If I ever get heroes again, I'm going to try.
I thought this was a Sacred Stones podcast. Why are we discussing heroes?
We're talking about the refine for Erica and how to best incorporate her into your team.
So it really just kind of breaks Erica.
Yes, it really it just breaks it.
I'm just going to like say what I would want to do if I ever get heroes again, and then I'm going to talk about one of my favorite maps on Sacred Stones.
Yeah, we can go into the maps next. Yeah,
I'd be so happy.
Oh wait, before that, I've got bad news. My Seth has gotten so severely RNG screwed. He's level 13 and only has gotten 1 stat up every single level.
His bases are good enough, but he quite honestly can still contribute.
He can still contribute, but Erica deals more damage than him.
Seth was Ike before Ike existed. If you want someone to solo the game, go Seth.
I'm fine. I'm gonna say
Okay,
Ike's not that good either.
I
So,
can put a little bit of effort in.
Radiant Dawn is good.
It is.
okay. Yeah.
Sounds a
What
good
I'd
book.
do if I ever got heroes again, I would try to put all my free time I have into my free-to-play orbs, because I don't want to spend money, on Myrrh, Cray Celica, and I think that's pretty much it. But I mean, you gotta go Cray Celica. Best Cray Celica, best Celica. Anyway.
You could probably not go gay Colby on my live stream.
No, oh my god. Oh gosh, we're still going on with that meme. Alright.
Yes.
Always.
Alright, so we're gonna
Okay.
segue into the maps here, okay?
My favorite.
That I've been drowning my sorrow in Fate Grand Order, and it's been screwing me over too.
My favorite map is either 15, chapter 15, the desert one. Like, it's kind of a mix between that one and chapter 13 of Erica's route, Hamil Canyon.
Okay, what do you like about the
I mean,
maps, though?
Well, like, I don't know, I just, like, I've always liked the desert, chapters in the Game Boy games. Just, like, finding the hidden items and stuff like that. It's always so fun to try to do. I mean, I don't know if you guys would find that fun, but I still did.
It's kind of a pain in the ass in desert chapters when they have hidden items like in the Teleus Saga, because it bases it off, like, your luck in order to obtain it.
About desert chapters, I have Fire Emblem 6 PTSD.
Unless you're a thief, and then you've got 100% chance to find it. So then you got to mess with the whole fucking rescue, carrying, and dropping thing. And Dashnak wants Celica's legs to crush his head.
Yeah, I seen that. I'm looking at the, I see the YouTube, thing.
Wait.
There's only, like,
wait.
four people watching it. 4 people like this.
We got like 30-something at one point.
My dad.
Nice.
Yeah,
I figured I would have just scared them all away.
What?
Yeah, Dad's still listening. Hi, Dad.
Hi, random person's father.
Are you proud?
Alright,
You should be proud.
He's probably more afraid of what kind of people she's hanging around.
Accurate.
I don't know. I'm a wonderful
Very
human
accurate.
being, okay?
My friends here. He knows exactly what kind of people I hang out with. We're all crazy.
You call this crazy? I haven't even gotten weird yet.
And what I really like about the chapter 13 of Erica's route, I don't know, like, sure, it's not like as mountainy as the chapter where you recruit Ewan and Saleh, but like
his name is Selah.
His name is
like, chapter wise, like, I'm not really that fond of defensive chapters, but like, no, once turn 5 rolls around, here he comes, my favorite Sacred Stones character, Cormag. Like,
Cormag is a good boy.
I've only used Cormag and Vanessa for the flying units. Like, any other flying units.
Vanessa, and I just can't.
Vanessa is like literally my Sacred Stones equivalent to Fly Girl.
I tried using Vanessa once, and I said, you know what, screw this, and killed her off. Because I just didn't want to see her name anymore.
Well,
wow,
I am heartless. I've killed an orphan in Fire Emblem 6 for 2,500 gold without a second thought. If I want a unit to just not be here, I'm going to kill them off.
Well,
no.
see, my experience with Vanessa was I have a video on this channel, actually, where I'm recording myself playing through Sacred Stones, and I'm only up to, like, Chapter 5 or something now, because I've been busy with college stuff. But
How does that feel?
say I'm playing the chapter where you have to invade the bandit stronghold to get Erica's bracelet back, and Vanessa is just
Oh, that one.
dodging literally fucking everything and critting cutthroats left and right.
Vanessa is good girl. Florina is good girl. Cormag is good boy.
You know,
So far my experience with Vanessa has been good, but my experience with Niemi has been shit because she's got 94% hit rate and she misses like 5 times in a row.
Yeah, but
Okay,
You know
Hello,
who's
like-
not a good boy? You know who's not a good boy?
Line?
Walter. Walter is not
Walter's
a
the
good
best boy.
He's a bad
Walter
boy.
Walter is the best boy. I will fight you on this.
What?
Walter is the best boy. I'll fight you on this, he said.
Walter for Smash Bros.
No. All for
Okay,
Smash
if anything,
No,
if anything, they should-
Celica got into Fire Emblem Warriors. Alm gets into Smash. Okay.
I could see
That
Alm as
is
like a
the
cross
circle.
between Marth and Ike's playstyle, but not Roy.
Put in a frame or
Walter for Street Fighter.
I would think the one who has the best shot would probably be Hector for any non-sword lord.
No, because then
Smash 5 right now.
Hector throws his axe at the screen and breaks the fourth wall. He just wins.
And
And the only thing you hear as he does is, oh!
yeah,
Map explodes.
his final smash is literally screaming "Oh ho" and then dropping lightning from Armads on his enemies.
That is all that I really need in life. Like, honestly, I could die a happy man.
If I have like Hector oh-ho-hoing his way through New York, I can die happy.
One of the classes, like, classes I don't use in like almost any Fire Emblem game except Tokyo Mirage Sessions, but that's kind of like more so Shimigami than Fire Emblem. But that's a story for another day.
What is Tokyo Mirage Sessions? I bought it and I cannot understand how.
Fire Emblem the musical featuring Super Saiyan Marth.
From what I understand,
Yes.
Super
Saiyan Marth.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're certainly not wrong there.
At least Marth doesn't scream for 20 episodes like Goku does.
Alright, let's talk shit on Dragon Ball Z. That shit's
Why don't you stop watching this? Alright. Like 50.
It's like Marth shows up and someone's like, "Is this the power of Ultra Instinct?"
Yes.
I mean, it's
Anyways,
Shit, it starts off as blue.
To get back to my point, archers and generals can't or just like knights, like big heavy knights, can't really. I don't know. I never really could use them except Ellie and Mamori for Tokyo Mirage Sessions and any kind of archer and echoes because archers have become a bit better. Just with longer range.
Archers
That's
were
probably
always
like archers.
pretty fun to use, but that's talking about FE7, so I don't know if that's gonna go over well.
Yeah. Archers have, in general, been either the worst or second worst unit or type in the game. Some games are better for armor. Some games are better for archers. They're not in a good place. Let me tell you.
I went to the Archer only run of FE7, and that run went smooth.
I say Ennis is a good archer, yet I've only used
Ennis was
him
amazing.
Ennis is a really
Okay.
good archer. He's the kind of archer that makes you think, why would I ever use Nemi?
My
Because
record
you
is
should-
to go 5 maps without getting hit.
What's even better about that map that I was talking about earlier, where you recruit Cormac and Amelia if you never recruited her earlier, is that after you complete it, if like a monster shows up there, it becomes a fog of war chat. It becomes a fog of war map.
Oh yeah, it does.
See,
doesn't
a lot of people shit on Fog of War, but I find it fun because it keeps battles interesting.
Exactly.
It also gives thieves another role, which I actually thoroughly enjoyed. Scooting back to a little bit of class stuff, because I like, even now, I'm a big... If I was a fucking Fire Emblem character, I'd be a goddamn fighter now. I turned from 14
if I was
small,
a Fire
couldn't kill
Emblem
anything,
character-
to be a fucking giant jackass.
I'm Myrmidon all the way.
If I was a Fire Emblem character, I would be a mage. Hands down, I would be a mage. Just magic, just yes.
Magic
please,
is
I would love it.
everything.
Skill-wise, I'll just be a mage just to get Life Taker, and then I'll become back. Then I'll turn back into my usual Myrmidon Swordmaster.
Everyone wants to be Nurgle.
Just don't make me a mage from Fates. No, they don't wear clothes in that.
I mean, the men don't
Fates
either,
wear
so-
clothes.
They were fucking
Yeah,
morph suits in
cla-
Fates.
Classics were just weird in Fates.
They really were. They tried to be too weeb too much, and it was just...
Fates was a
It's like-
mistake.
Fates
It's like, hey, you got a spear fighter, and then it's like you got like, it's like, yeah, you got like a lancer or whatever, and then you got the Japanese version. Oh, hey, like, look at the mage. What's its Japanese version? Onmonji or something like that?
Onmyoji.
The best thing to come out of Fates was Takumi.
Yeah, Takumi was actually a really
Yeah.
good character.
He is a
Saizo.
pineapple.
And,
I like
and angry
pineapple.
pineapple.
He's a salty
Saizo
pineapple,
is
but
an
he's a good
anime
one.
ninja.
Saizo is Mario, except darker and edgier, and throws knives instead of fucking jumps on people. Changed my mind.
Saizo and Kaze are just the equivalent of the Mario Bros.
Well, it's
for
the
Fire Emblem.
Cavaliers. It's the red and green Cavaliers. That's a loving trope for Fire Emblem series. But they did
Yes,
fucking
friggin'
ninjas this
Kent
time.
and Sane. Oof, Sane.
Saizo and Kaze are just the Mario and
God,
Luigi
I
of
hate
Fire
Saizo.
Emblem, so it's basically Wizo and Wakaze.
Amazing.
Ouch.
A map that I really enjoyed on Sacred Stones is also the friggin' volcano hell-esque chapter.
I've
always loved the volcano.
like chapters.
I hated that.
There was so much stress in that chapter, and I was not apt to handle it.
I could handle it. I found Conquest to be easy, by the way.
I mean, listen, the newest Fire Emblem games have been a step down as far as the difficulty ratings for anyone that's played the older game. And
We don't compare things these days to FE4 and 5.
Yeah. Overall, it's because the Fire Emblem games were hard. They were meant to be hard. They were not meant to be an easy game that you could just happy slash your fairy tale way through. And that's fairy tale
Yeah.
spelled like the
I like that they don't
anime.
want to be easy games.
Yeah, it's meant to be
It's
a
only
really
a
tough game that makes you
physical
think about each of your moves before you make them. Because you could get somebody killed, then their blood is on your head, and all hell is breaking loose, and it's all your fault.
See,
But,
that's why I love to
with
go for
the-
deathless runs, because I can't handle like watching other people's reactions to their friends dying. Like in fucking Echoes, when a character dies, one of the characters as a support with them says like a really sad quote, like I think it's like if Python dies, then Forsyth will scream, "Python, no! Open your eyes!"
Is that like a cross reference to Rock?
Yeah, there's one character in the original Gaiden where it was either Gray or Tobin. No. It was Tobin. Where if Tobin died, Gray's ending would be that he just spent his days getting drunk in the bar and he never smiled again in his life.
That's gay.
Fire Emblem really likes to let you know that if you kill somebody's friends, they're never going to forgive you.
Pretty much, yeah, that's why I killed all of them. Their sadness pleases me.
I legitimately, I backed out until I could do deathless runs at the end of the day. Like, I'll admit, entirely, I hated the thought of anyone getting killed. And with, like, didn't Sacred Stones have the bit where if you tried to turn the game off and on again, it auto-saved before fucking turns? Or was that a
Yeah.
game forward?
That was even in FE6, dude.
Okay, just making sure, because it's been a while since I played the game. But I do remember a massive amount of stress of, oh fuck, I made the wrong move, and then everything goes bad, and I cannot change it.
Okay, so I actually have one file in Sacred Stones that I keep as is. So whenever I just get mad at the world, I can go back, load up that save, and watch Ross die, and it makes me happy, and I can just do things again with my dad.
Why are you like this?
Because he's like a dumb kid who has dreams, and I like seeing those dreams get crushed.
God damn it, Q.
You are a terrible person.
Hi, have we met?
Same.
Have we met?
It's a virtual life full of ones and zeros. If I can end it to make myself happy, you bet your ass I will.
Rude.
Not rude enough.
So about those signs of a serial killer.
We are friends.
But no, I can understand that with the ending lives for entertainment. I've played The Sims.
Oh, but see, like,
too true, man, too true.
You know what I see is a really dick move on IS's part for game designs?
Oh boy.
The whole thing about me wanting to do deathless runs, but Shadow Dragon having all the guiding chapters and having all the actually canon characters be guiding characters where you have to kill off over half your fucking army in order to play their chapters. Like, in the prologue, you have to kill off 3 allies just to get 1. But it's Norn.
Yeah,
it's Norn, and she's a better archer than Gordon anyways. But then again, I want to keep Gordon because... But Mars!
But Mars!
So this just confirms that Marth was at his strongest when he wasn't wearing pants.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
Dash,
so
those
I'm
things are
actually
called
gonna-
Gaiden
I'm
chapters,
actually
and it
gonna
sucks because the
cosplay-
only recruitable Dark Mage in the game is Etzel, and you don't get him till like almost 3/4 of the way through the game, and even then, you have to have 13 or less characters at the end of the previous
It's
chapter.
15 or less.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
guys,
13.
guys. Speaking
I've
of
gone through the
Pam-
game with 15 and got all of the Gaiden chapters.
Speaking of pantsless Marth, I'm going to be cosplaying Marth to Anime Midwest this year, and I've been dared to cosplay pantsless Marth for this.
Don't. Like, legitimately don't.
I might.
At
No,
least,
like,
at least
I
wear
don't.
spats
There's a
or
lot of
something, because
harassment
I
that
mean,
goes on in cons.
Wow.
I mean, there's all
During
kinds
this
of
podcast,
weird
2
shit. And
people changed their, what do you call it? Profile pictures.
Yeah, I changed mine from Komaeda to Nero, because I like Nero better.
Umu.
Mine is too perfect to change.
I changed my the Cappy Frederick Fire thing. It's just awesome. I love it. No, I changed mine from Florina to Loot.
And judging from what I said earlier about casually killing kids, you can't say that it's inaccurate.
I mean,
Because
Whole-
the
whole
original
companies
picture
have-
says, for the glory of Satan, of course. Is that a facepalm?
it was. It was actually audible.
So anyway, about my main girl in Sacred Stones, Marissa.
Ow, I laughed too hard and I gave myself a headache.
That
Same.
happens sometimes.
I can only whenever I think of Marissa, I can think of one thing. Shamshir, give it to Joshua.
That would require me to use
Oh my
that.
god, everything went way too quiet after I said that.
Dude,
I'm
Joshua,
trying to
Well, as far as
so much to say about him.
Joshua has higher stat raises, higher stats in the beginning than Marissa does. For the most part, at least.
Marissa makes a better assassin while Joshua makes a better swordmaster.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see that. Her high skill does that
I
too,
think
speed as well.
I my YouTube icon.
See, the problem is no one wants to use assassins because in the GBA games their strength is just so bad. You have to have them down.
Yeah, I'd rather much use, like, it's funny, when I use thieves and stuff like that, it's like, I use them way more the fight, which I probably shouldn't do.
I
but,
don't
like,
even use thieves to steal stuff, I just buy keys.
Just buy keys. I mean, yeah, you could do that too.
I mean, like, oh, I forget which, I think it might have actually been either Sacred Stones or FE7, where you get so many keys throughout the game that you can unlock pretty much everything without ever having a thief in your party.
Now, you see, when they introduced the little My Unit bullshit, I actually loved making the My Unit a thief. That way I could just do it myself, and to be honest, I give a rat's ass about the character that I play in there.
Duh.
Just take the load off of everybody else in the party.
Everything I see or hear.
Because I know that my unit's going to be gratuitously powerful in comparison to other units in there, so it's like, it's not going to be totally weak. Might as well use that as the thief.
Making Chris a mercenary in Fire Emblem, I think 12. If you want to break the game, you make yourself a mercenary and you just waltz right through it. I started off with I think it was 10 strength, 11 skill, 12 speed.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did with Awakening as well. I always immediately reclassed a mercenary to get arms thrift, because fuck breaking weapons. But now that Steven's gone, we can make incest jokes about Erica and Ephraim, even though it's probably not true. But I want to discuss something about the lore behind their weapons.
Okay, the lore behind their weapons is a German play about twins that are in love with each other. We already know. It's what the fuck Japan, okay? We know it's a Japan trope. We know what Japan does. We know what they're capable of. We don't need to approach this any further. That's it.
Can you talk about how Xander's weapon's the daddy?
Actually, it's from the Norse tale called the Volsung Saga.
Talking about the names between Sieglind and Sigrid, right?
Yes, from the Volsung Saga. It's Norse, not German.
There's a lot of intermixings between the two things there.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yes, we know this, and no jokes. The only thing not Steven, the only thing Ephraim serves is a cock block to anyone that wants to get close to his sister throughout the entire series.
You're forgetting Ephraim also serves all of his enemies' heads on a golden platter.
No, Ephraim is a goddamn Mary Sue for his storyline, if you look at it from an oversight.
He really is.
He literally just I'm gonna take this tiny army, go directly into enemy territory, and butt-fuck everyone with the butt of my spear.
That's actually something I wanted to say earlier when Steven was talking about Chapter 5. A lot of people don't much care for it, but I like how in the harder difficulties, it can actually be kind of a challenge to get 3 units, because no one wants to use Orson, get those 3 units through all of the fortress themselves. I've almost lost Ephraim a couple times doing it.
Yeah, and in comparison, talking a little bit about storyline stuff like that, Erica's storyline is just, it's so much more sweet and pure because she's goddamn fucking naive, and I love that for it. But damn, does everyone take her trust feelings for a goddamn ride till she spits on them?
Let's be honest, if you were her enemy and she was like, oh yeah, I'll give you anything, you would take advantage of that.
Listen, if she told me she would give me anything, I would just take her heart. Not physically.
But actually just rip into her chest, grab her heart.
No, there's other things in the chest.
Make pillows out of things like that.
Exactly.
My man.
Ephraim, anything's a dildo if you're brave enough.
No! And then, someone looks at Ephraim and is like, you're the one that brave? I'm like, no, I'm not the one being brave. Just
no. Okay, with Ephraim, it's either anything's a dildo if you're brave enough, or he makes you have it anyways. You don't have a choice in the matter. It's you either go willingly or you don't. There's no in between.
A poem from Ephraim's side of Sacred Stone. Roses are red, onions make you cry, bite the pillow, the lance is going in dry.
Oh my god.
No!
I was going to put in that lewd picture way sooner, but it was right after somebody said something very, very weird or incestful or whatever you want to call it.
It'll get worse.
Incestuous.
Yeah.
That.
Incest is wincest.
No.
I mean, it doesn't help that when Corvus said, Corvus made Ephraim say, anything's a dildo if you're brave enough.
Finally! Colby's finally!
This conversation is kind of making me uncomfortable. Can we move on?
Yes, okay.
Are you not brave enough?
Let's get back to storylines and Sacred Stones.
Yeah, we got really off track.
Sacred Stones, not the family jewel.
Off track.
Yes. So overall, as far as it goes, we did touch a little bit on a couple of villains, but what was you guys' favorite, single most villain in Sacred Stones? I mean,
Valter, and many times more Valter.
I loved Valter's storyline of, between what draws you to fight him and what draws him to, well, not necessarily change too much, but more or less awaken his fucking hate boner for literally everything that's alive.
Dude, that was awesome.
And just his normal boner for
Also, it's my
Erica.
spirit animal.
But it was
Like-
it was a good story from start to finish as far as, I need to beat the fuck out of this guy goes. I mean, you get that in every little RPG out there. There's that one guy that stands up and is like, hey, yo, I'm gonna be encompassing everything you fucking hate.
See, I always
But
found
see,
Vulture
I
to be
think
kind of like an
Vulture
arrogant
also
asshole,
very
because
much
when he first
enjoys
shows up,
doing
he's like, yo, you guys are worthless without me.
See,
Yeah,
Vulture
like,
enjoys being the one everyone hates because he wants to do what he wants to do. He'll help his enemies by doing it, and if you hate him more for it, he goes, cool, come at me, bro, and he will take you on.
come at me, bro.
Straight up owns the role. And then on the flip side, you've got Leon, who's the I'm being possessed little guy. I mean, yeah, trying to bring Dearest back, and then a demon gets up the butt, and there we go. That's the character there. It's the guy with the problem. The problem happens to be half of his body is contained in the heart of the demon lord, Falker Darknard.
Okay, let's be honest here. If Vulture did get, legitimately possessed, he would rip Formortis out of himself and say, sweet, thanks for showing me how much fun this is.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, probably.
he did get kind of taken for a ride by the spear of, hey, let's go cut people.
No, he would take down Formortis himself and take his throne. It's like, nope, this is my job now.
Well, no, definitely. He's a fucking driven and arrogant human being. He's ambitious.
I love him.
I was going to, go friggin'
Ciara, what are you doing?
Oh, my... What?
I am Formortis! I will tell you all you want to know. Tell me how much Leon loves me.
Tell me how much Lauren loves me. A whole lot.
I'm sorry. I regret nothing.
Okay.
Seeing Erica portrayed by Papaco.
I'm finally on my laptop. I can send my whole Leon folder here. Yes. I regret nothing.
But Lauren kills people.
I was going to go, straight out,
I regret nothing.
troll. I was gonna go straight out troll on everybody and say, how the hell do you say this fat fucker's name? Geb? Cheb?
Geb.
Geheb?
It's Geb.
An annoying person that I just want to stab in the face with everything I have.
Yo, and so
Usually a fat guy that's pretty
Ipe drew
stabbable.
Geb on Twitter recently, and everyone on Facebook's been fucking screaming about it, and I'm like, okay, but why are you so into this fat ass with a neck the size of a freaking 4x4 truck tire?
I hate that his throne gives him resistance. It's the only one in the game that does it. Sitting here looking at the numbers this doesn't look right. And he just says, oh yeah, I'm this, monstrous rapist fat man on a throne. Have fun.
You totally could tell that he wanted to, freaking get in there with Tana, because he's all like, I like her, throw her in a cell. I'll spend the evening giving her a thorough interrogation. Heh heh heh.
Wait, no, that's not the picture I wanted to send. That is not the picture I wanted to send. I am sorry.
Well, from that last picture, harder, Erica.
I'm so sorry.
That's the face he's wearing right now.
It totally is.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So this has just turned into Ciara meme posting now. Great.
It's not a
I
meme.
just have a whole folder full of Leon because I made a video about him a while ago and I gathered several memes while doing so.
Send all of it, you
I will. I'm sending all of it.
Just don't do anything stupid. Oh, crap, I did it stupid.
Sorry.
I did it stupid.
I did it stupid.
Leo's death was another little bit in there.
Just don't do anything
But,
stupid. I did it stupid.
Wait, no, hold on. I sent that out of order.
Way to
Hold
go.
on, let me retry.
Way to go. I'll delete it and you
Retry.
can retry it.
Delete us. I was gonna say something now.
Fetus deletus.
Delete us, fetus. Fetus, delete us.
No.
I have a question for you. Which is heavier, a kilogram of steel or a kilogram of feathers?
That
The
man's mind blown.
That's controversial.
That's
No,
right,
no,
steel,
no,
because
no.
steel is heavier than feathers. They both weigh the same.
No, actually, the kilogram of feathers is heavier because then you have to think about what you did to those poor birds.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Also, I did find.
I don't get it.
I don't
Guys,
get
I
it.
did find this beautiful gem while I was looking.
Okay, that's actually beautiful.
Holy
is-
shit, that's fucking art goals.
It is.
I like
It
how right
really
now
is.
we're not even talking about anything that they know about. We're just off here in our own little world.
Alright, crap, have me scroll up so I can find out
Let's
where we were
restart
gonna
so we
be.
can figure out what we were talking about.
Okay,
Wait,
we
hold on.
basically
We're
Last
talking
what I'm
about
gonna say.
class.
we basically
Guys,
naturally
that's what I'm
covered
gonna say, and then I'm done. I promise.
we
I promise I'm
basically
done after
covered
this.
all of our favorite male and female characters as well as favorite maps and moments in game. But I've got one about La Rochelle that I had when she first showed up. All I could think of was the all right, my work here is done, but you didn't do anything. Cape flap meme when La Rochelle shows up at the end of the chapter.
Oh, that's totally her.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, my work here is done, and then Erica's like, but you didn't do anything.
It's like she doesn't need to do anything. She's like the freaking beautiful princess of beauty. That's all she needs to know. Enemies die in her glorious blonde block, I guess.
All right.
I will
I'm
not allow
done
you to
sending
take advantage of
artwork.
me in my confused state.
It's like, really, Rochelle's vanity is makes her one of the better characters in the game.
Is this like a
Favorite-
picture of what's going on inside Leon's mind throughout the whole game?
Yeah,
No.
probably.
It's like, give me a
Also,
character
also,
that can
that's
actually compare to
Oh my
Rochelle.
gosh, so much.
It's not enough.
It's
not enough.
Favorite
I have
moments of
more.
the game. I'm pretty sure that's the only thing we didn't cover yet.
I
Yeah,
mean, I don't
I
think
just
we
covered
really
my
talked
portion
about
of it.
favorite maps too much. We got kind of
I
sidetracked from that.
Okay, Ciara, you're starting to
was it-
send your fangirl stuff while your dad's watching the stream. You know that, right?
It's like, and when it came to favorite characters, I think we all just kind of screamed of Walter.
How cute.
Everyone got
She's
distracted.
Such a beautiful romance. She
killed
kills
her.
punctured his face with a sword. They're in love.
No, like, I still, like, I want to turn this into a meme, just, like, some, like, really weird thing happens, and then just, all you see is this.
Can we talk about
Damage.
just how awesome Loin's tome is when you finally, like, get through the creature campaign, get to play as him, and you can throw his tome on just about anyone? Like, he could have been better as a unit, but that tome more than makes up for it. Also, why is Glepnir so bad?
Gleipnir?
Gluttony. Well,
It's Gleipnir.
That picture I just
I'll
sent
call
you.
it Big Black Tome, just to, like, piss
Eric,
me
let
off.
me teach you about the dark arts.
But, like, it was one of the strongest weapons, but it's the only one that doesn't have effectiveness against monsters. Why?
Who knows? Well, Gleipnir is from the etymology of the mother of Sleipnir, which is Odin's steed from Norse mythology. And basically, Gleipnir was just a fucking 8-legged horse that was itself a monster. So it doesn't really make sense that it itself would have effectiveness against other monsters. No, wait, Loki was the mother of Sleipnir. So Gleipnir was the father. That's right. I forgot Loki's. I
Even
forgot
among
Loki's a
monsters,
priest.
there's some that want to show that they're more monstrous than others. If it has, like, that one, nah.
I'm running out of fan art to send.
Go get more fan art. Like,
Let us see what else I have not in my Leon folder. I know I've got more. It's hidden amongst all the Danganronpa stuff. Oh, hey, this. I found this. Don't know what to make of it, but I found it.
That is very gay.
Oh my.
I just found it on accident. I'm like, what the
it's
heck?
not gay if you get Erica in there, too.
Ooh, threesome.
Oh my.
The
No.
bicycle of Renee.
You know, I like how I already warned the people of this household this would get really weird, so he just doesn't care.
This is
another
how
Some more memes.
Renee, I love that. So much.
I can see
that.
Ephraim would totally do that.
It's funny because I seen the actual GIF of that.
I have seen the actual GIF. GIF, however you say it.
My
GIF.
friend says GIF. It's like,
I
no,
said
it's
GIF.
not peanut butter. It's just a little video clip it thing.
It's a gift.
Guys, what if the G in GIF is silent?
It's
What if it's secretly pronounced with a Z?
What if?
it stands for graphics interchange format or something like that. So it's
I
GIF.
don't know.
I was gonna say that doesn't look like Lion.
I've never used Null, and I've never had any interest in using Null.
Okay, so Dashnak says he needs to motorboat Loki's Naglfars. So it's really tearing into me trying not to explain what the hell Naglfar actually is. So
The ship of the damned, carrying souls lost into the waves.
it's actually a ship made out of the ever-growing fingernails and toenails of corpses.
Ew.
That Loki
Disgusting.
and his army ride into battle during
Guys, have
Ragnarok
something
on.
cute.
I'm pretty sure that's something my friend sent me or said to
So,
me.
Corbett,
Dash neck. A frame is a nut. Or
you
in
could
a
say
nut.
they nailed the
He,
materials.
there's a lag in the video. The thing where Ephraim's flying through the air towards Erica and Tana. That's what he's referencing.
They nailed the materials. to make them
Oh
better.
yeah.
Is that an iFunny
I
watermark?
love that so much. I really like
Hey.
her.
It is an
Liar.
iPhone
Ciara,
watermark.
Ciara, I
found
think
it
we
on
need to sit down and have a talk about that iFunny watermark.
I
I
feel
found
it's so
Pinterest.
boring for people to watch or listen to.
For Montes just walking by. Lion. Ooh, a frame? Oh.
Let's talk about Formortis as a boss fight and just how terrifying he is for a Game Boy Advance.
It was. I found the final boss to be like extremely easy because I broke both.
Wait,
Like-
no, that's not what I meant to say. No, ignore the Danganronpa.
I mean, okay, the legendary weapons would make him easy. That's not a problem. But how scary he was design-wise.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, like I decided like when I played through Sacred Stones, I like maxed out like leveled up all my characters to 20 advanced, and I wanted to see who was able to like easily kill Frame. Yes. No, I wanted to see who could like easily like kill like Formontis or whatever.
Formortis.
And, oh my god, Ross. Friggin' just Ross destroys him. Like Ross, Loot, Cormag, and Edwin.
I like
Next
Loot.
one.
I like Loot because of the memes, and she dabs when she attacks.
But, like,
This
what do you
next-
think of Formortis'
Loot is the
Specifically,
best.
Sacred Stones, but
When you want
it's
to
the
use
Fujiwara
a
Rio
Netflix free
face.
trials account.
It's the frickin' Fujiwara Rio face. This is worse than the fucking saber face syndrome that Nasu has.
ouch.
No, it's like it's like trying to use different accounts to get free Netflix trials. That picture right there. Also, Joshua in Heroes is voiced by Todd Havercord, which I approve.
Me too.
Dash, I was talking about
That's
Loot
why-
when I
that was the
said
only
they
reason why
dab
I
when they
wanted
attack.
Super.
I'm having trouble finding more memes. Here we go. Here's a meme. Here's a meme.
Oh.
You guys got quiet. I'm concerned.
The fucking horse mask.
I'm just thinking, like,
This is
no one
very
listening on this
concerning.
one any idea what we're looking
Wait,
at.
that's perfect follow-up meme.
Oh no.
Does this
Does
upset
this
you?
upset you?
Not at all.
It doesn't upset me, it concerns me.
It makes me wonder what happened to our podcast.
Well, basically, we're still
are
discussing
listed as
Sacred
the
Stones and
Secret
Fire Emblem as a
Stoner.
whole, but we're just watching Ciara's memes in the meantime.
And no one listening in on this will have any idea. We're just sitting here laughing at things they can't see.
Fucking Leon.
Wait, I found another meme.
The horse head sticks, it's so accurate. Alright, so anything else you guys want to talk about, or should we just go ahead and wrap this up? I think it got cut pretty short because
We didn't really talk too much about favorite characters, and we definitely didn't talk about maps.
We did
Well,
talk
favorite
about
I said
maps.
fish beside lions, but
Why not?
We did talk about maps and favorite characters, really.
Yes. I mean, I could go on more about Marissa. I mean, listen, there's a lot.
Go for it.
Oh, seriously? All right,
Yeah,
I was
go
half
for it,
joking
man.
on that one, but now that you mention it, I mentioned I was a young little 14-year-old whenever I was playing Sacred Stones for the first run. Believe it or no, I actually was excruciatingly fucking frail and tiny at the time. So whenever I was stuck in a video game facing up against a female character that happened to be extremely fucking strong, they're quote unquote extremely fucking strong, you know, for whatever series it may or may not be in, I was just like, oh, well shit, that's nice. I like that. That could get me my ass kicked less if I ever encountered that. Marissa was one of those. I was just like, oh shit. I was drawn in by the, well, pink hair, really pretty, and then stabs the living dog shit out of people whenever they piss her off. I dare say I stayed for the half tsundere sort of lifestyle that is one of those quiet and brooding characters.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Marissa's heroes art is fucking gorgeous.
Oh dear God!
I really like how they put the highlights in her hairs and the shading. So.
Garrett can go die. Sorry, go ahead.
Like, of all the characters in Sacred Stones, Garrick may be one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game, and maybe in the entire series.
oof,
If you want to look it up. I've never used Cormag, so I can't say anything about him. Never read into him at all. Never even remembered his name most of the time. But
well,
Garrick is someone
because I kind of like relate to Cormag about like
Stuff.
about like the whole brother thing.
Why is so much of my pictures just Danganronpa memes? I mean, seriously.
Are you seriously? I thought you actually were putting them on the.
No, I'm
what do you call it?
scrolling. I'm just scrolling through my photos, and it's like, why are so many of these Danganronpa memes?
Probably because you're a filthy role player.
You're not wrong.
I roleplay too.
Same.
Colby, I've seen your role plays. I wouldn't call that role playing.
Well, normally, like, I do better. Like, I'm just only, like, half-arse, like, trying. My role-playing is actually kind of way better.
I do some pretty good role plays,
Are you
hopefully.
talking about the Pello shit?
I'm talking about the shit from your server that you got Caitlyn in. With you and Diva.
Like I said, the Pello shit.
I don't know. I didn't bother to remember anything about it. It was so weird.
It was more so Diva's idea of that role. It was
Yeah,
more so,
yeah, sure,
so
sure.
a thing that
Pin it off
Diva
on your
and
friend who
Caitlyn-
can't hear you. I'll be sure to tell him later.
No, like it was more so a thing that like Diva and Caitlyn kind of did together. I was just like, I'll join in.
Okay. Anyways, back on topic. What did we leave off?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I've been trying to get back on topic.
we talked about
I like
Chestius's love
Wait, I
for
found another Sacred
Marissa.
Stones meme. I found another Sacred Stones meme finally.
At this point, we almost shouldn't have any more memes because that's what got us completely off track.
I'm a healer,
It
but
is. I'm sorry.
Arder. I like Loot.
I feel like our favorite character
Keep
talk could be
precious.
one of the best in this video if we can really get into it and stay into it.
Yeah, on
Okay.
the topic of loot,
This is the last meme I'm gonna send.
you
I
have to
promise.
stop.
No,
Stop.
on the topic of Loot, I want them to talk.
You
This
gotta
is the
stop.
last meme. I promise.
Gotta stop with the meme. God damn.
Last
Very
meme, I
sad.
promise.
God damn it.
With, I mean, listen, Sassy Magic Small, okay? Am I wrong?
Loot is good.
Yes.
Loot is great. Loot
What,
is
who
precious.
else is favorite? A waifu? Husbando? Go for it.
I've only played like the first 4 or 5 chapters, so I can't really put any input. But
Who is your husbando, Corvus? Don't hold back here.
I'm
My
not gay.
husbando would probably have to be Cormag, because I relate.
It's like, okay,
Things are really quiet.
let's have like an actual conversation about loot to start this off.
Yes.
You were asking about waifus and husbandos. I was
Go for
gonna
it.
list mine.
Having more than
my
one
husband-
waifu can ruin your waifu, and now I want to kill myself for saying that.
Joke's on you, I didn't have a waifu to begin with.
Ouch. Okay, my husbando would probably be Artur because I just love him so much.
I look like Archer, to be honest.
That's the waifu.
Back then.
That's the waifu from Sacred Stones, or can I just list my number 1 waifu even if it's not from Fire Emblem?
No, this is a Holy Fire Emblem podcast.
Okay.
That's why we were talking about Danganronpa earlier.
My Sacred Stones waifu would probably be Lara Shell.
But you gotta tell us why. What do you like about the character? Why do you want other people to like them, if you do?
I want Lara Shell to beat me with her staff. That's all there is to it.
Oh.
So it's
That's
your
fine.
must.
Hot.
Eh.
But like I like
Lara
Lara Shell because she's an idiot, but she's a lovable idiot, and she's always doing something funny to make me
Yes,
laugh.
I like Kuro's explaining reasoning. Not for dirty pleasure-ish thoughts. I am just making up words. I am so tired. Not
Dude,
really.
Lara Shell saw a shoulder and flipped out because Ephraim was being a pervert.
But no, I really like Loot. Not only because she's like super cute, but like I just really liked her in like battle and stuff. And I like using mages too. So like I used like Urk when I Eric. How that I used him when. What?
I've always called him Eric.
Eric.
Because it is Eric.
Yeah, like, but no, like, I don't know, like, I don't like Loot because of the meme. I like Loot because of who she is.
Honestly, I think Loot's kind of a pretentious asshole just from the personality I know of her from Heroes, but I think they made her like 500% more of an asshole in Heroes than they did in Sacred Stones.
As Fire Emblem has developed, there's kind of been a lot more anime tropes to it. And one of the anime tropes is the like Pius, the Hime Dere, the fucking all the Deres you could fucking imagine. And they've honestly applied a lot of this to characters and voices in Heroes, and then of course the newer games. And honestly, I did like Sacred Stones and all that because of the disconnect of this. It's a Japanese game, yes, but it's on a European setting, European fantasy setting, to be more correct. And it goes off of that rather than any, this is ninja waifu tropes.
So you're talking about it's supposed to be like European based, but instead they're making it like Fates.
They've recently. I mean, it came into with the ninjas and naginatas and all that jazz.
That whole
have
ninja
very
waifu
recently-
trope thing was the summary of the last voting gauntlet.
Last voting gauntlet was doomed to breast size. Okay.
I mean, isn't that how a lot of people like get into Fire Emblem anyways? Because hey, look, character has chesticles. Ugh, Camilla. Ugh.
Hey, unless my eyes deceive me, that's a chest.
Unfortunately, they don't, and the game flaunts it like hell.
Well, they've done it since day one, and again, they flaunted whichever woman is beautiful or whatnot, or whichever man is extremely like tiny and gorgeous. They've done that since day
Let's
one.
be honest, Garrick has more than just physique. He's I still stand up for being the best.
Have you seen any and all of the fucking Hector fan art? Okay, listen, we all know where people go with these sorts of things.
Yep.
Hey guys,
Oh,
how much longer is this gonna last for?
Probably
I've got
only about
something.
10 to 20 minutes.
Okay. Because I've got a
Still, that last 20
Growing
minutes
and I
was
have-
nothing but Garrick.
like anytime when I used to play Fire Emblem Heroes and I had loot, I was like in a call with my friend, and like anytime I'd like play a map using loot or whatever, like sometimes like they like say the things when you like click on them. Whenever loot says "You need me," I say "I need you," and my friend just like looks at me, like with the like thousand yard stare, and just like looks at me. I think you need help. If you need
That's
her.
advanced waifu syndrome. I suggest seeking for help from a professional. Professional mangaka to advance that shit.
Yes.
Get at it, my dude.
Oh yes.
As
I
long as
need
you're not
loot.
a filthy lolicon, because those guys can all rap.
Yo, we're talking about Elijah again.
But
Yo,
no.
Ciara. So Will shows up and says, "Play a real game. Play Xenoblade."
Oh yeah, that's a real game.
Wait, where's Will at?
He's in the YouTube live chat.
Oh, he's in the YouTube chat. Oh, wait, he is?
Here's Xenoblade.
Ouch, Will!
Speed! Buster! My British Australian accent!
That somehow is forced to be fucking Scottish on top of British and Australian in Xenoblade 2.
Now it's rhyme time.
Buster!
Oh, guys, the Lucy Bloodworth commenting on the
Yeah, I
YouTube
could
thing
tell.
is
I could tell.
yeah, I was an edgelord and I still am.
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
I mean, it's okay to be, edgy in this day and age, as long as you admit it, and you're not one of those,
Dude, I'm so edgy, I cut butterflies that fly next to me.
only butterflies?
And the occasional tank. I haven't been able to,
Really?
alive this time.
What?
I haven't been able to, roast Colby alive this time. I think I'm falling behind.
Well,
Roast me.
just wait.
Kidding.
Just wait
Roast.
till later when we
Not
get in
roast
another
me.
voice call. Q.
As long as he knows that I'm joking.
Like the only the only time you could roast me is if we're like not talking about like Fire Emblem or anything like that.
You mean like half this podcast?
Well, okay, so yeah, half this podcast, he never had the chance. Oh well.
You'll have plenty chance later.
I have plenty of chances. I'm just trying to be nice to you. It's the calm before the storm before I rip you a new one.
Oh.
Don't roast me, I will start crying.
I'll drink your tears and roast you more.
No one needs the cries.
No. Cry
no
away,
one
cry
needs
away.
that.
I'll record and listen to it as a lullaby.
Do not.
Oh, I will.
Okay, let's
Secret
get back on
Stones.
topic here so we can wrap it up.
I will
fight you. I will track you down and I will sock you in the jaw so hard
sacred stones.
Wait, hold on. You're gonna sock me in the dick or like suck? Because
No,
if it's
I
sacred, the sacred stones definitely
My
apply.
dad is on the stream.
Now his dad's gonna know what his. Now her dad's gonna know what his daughter does in her free time. I'm not apologizing.
I will punch you. I swear it.
She said she was gonna sock you in the jaw, not suck you in the dick.
I said sock as in punch. You idiot.
Personnel, kid. The edge is too strong.
I mean, I didn't understand if you said like SO or SU. So like, if it was SU, then us talking about the sacred stones just kind of works out all too well.
Son of a bitch.
I hate you all. I
know. I've been waiting to do this to someone since the start.
What?
I hate you all.
I didn't do anything, okay?
Hey, what did I do?
Exist.
Oh shit.
Ooh. There's my first roast.
Is it a roast if it's true? Oh, okay.
No.
As long as you know I'm joking. This time.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get back on topic.
I've been trying to talk about Garrick, but no one will have it.
Then talk about Garrick, you fucking loser.
Let's know about Garrick.
Okay. Like, how much do you guys actually know about maybe the best mercenary in the series?
Literally
He's
nothing,
green.
because I've only played 4 chapters of this game.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm stuck in chapter 15 of both routes, so don't ask me this question.
Okay. Besides the fact that in his supports, like if you watch Gast's video on this, I couldn't agree more with this guy just being a role model. Garrick is a leader. He understands what his job implies. He's had his friends die in front of him, and he looked at it and said, "It's our line of work. I can't be sad about it. It happens," and he accepts it.
That's kind of sad, to be honest.
It's really sad, but it's also really strong. But one of his endings, if he ends the game alone, he gives up. He vanishes. He can't handle it anymore.
He probably goes somewhere and kills himself.
He might, actually. I don't know. He's been through so many fights. He's seen so many of his friends killed. But he still manages to be a mentor. He accepted his mistakes in the past with Garcia, which is why he has the scar on his face. He was a young mercenary, figured, hey, I can do what I want. No one can stop me. He fought against a trained knight, and he got destroyed. It was an eye-opening moment for him. It doesn't matter what he has in hand, who he's around, how good he thinks he is. He still needs to think.
And that's actually a very real...
I have a really bad headache, so I'm sorry, but I'm gonna get off now.
Alright, great having you around, Ciara.
Alright.
Enjoy.
I had a lot of though. I'll be sure to hop in on the Awakening one, though, so...
Alright, you got like 4 weeks till that, so you're good.
Alright. See ya.
Later.
Have a good one.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
So that right there, I wanted to touch on that with Garrick. It's a very... I'm going to let you know, it's a very real situation. And it's one that's not natural. It's the reason why it's so popular in a fantasy game. But it's also kind of shit on for anyone that doesn't have the typical trope of, I am the big strong man. My response to this is being the big strong man and nothing more. I mean, you get those flat personalities with certain people that are seen as the strongest peeps out there. But Garrick has a very real reaction to it in the end. That being, when he disappears, it's not necessarily him giving up. It's not necessarily... It's him just not wanting to be around it anymore. He's done with that life.
It's not even that he's done with that life. He just can't handle anything. He had no support at the end, maybe when he needed it most, maybe when he lost someone too close, and he dips out of the planet. The thing with his scar is that he wanted to be the big strong man. He thought he was. And he was shown that he wasn't. And he doesn't use that as like, okay, I can't do this anymore, I'm done. He uses that to teach other people what their limitations are, what their mentality should be.
I think it's
And
always
what-
good when you've got a big, strong character like him that shows humility.
Garrick
Okay.
knows his place in the world. And I also really enjoyed that when Ainz tried to fire him, Garrick looked at him and said, "That's cute, but I
No.
like you, so I'm going to continue this for my own personal interest." What other mercenary will ever say, "Hey, you try to fire me? Well, fuck you, I'm watching your back anyways."
He's grizzled himself. He's become a grizzled veteran by experiencing it enough. And again, I brought this up like a minute ago here, but that real situation, that real personality of facing, well, all fucking shit in the seven hells, it's something that a lot of people don't and thankfully won't ever have to experience. Getting blooded in battle.
I mean, think of it like this. Not Gaius. Garrick has supports with Ross where he teaches Ross about what he did after he got his ass kicked by Ross's father.
Yeah.
He uses Ross's own dad as a personal example, and how many times can you say that happens in video games ever?
It's like, grow up to be a better man than I was, so you don't have to go through the same thing with your own father type thing.
Grow up using my mistakes as your example.
Learn from my mistakes so you don't suffer the way I did, etc., etc. I love characters that are noble like that, but are also flawed.
And that's something that, well, a lot of, tropes stray away from and like that, and a lot of playing off of certain things just distracts from.
I mean, it doesn't even end there. You see so much more of what Garrick was before all this, what happened after all this, what happens during all this, where he has two very genuine relationships with Tethys and Marissa. But before, he was a gambler. He was in Ganea, and he beats Joshua at his own game because Joshua loses against the more experienced man. And Garrick's chill about it. He doesn't rub it in his face. He doesn't say, well, get better at this. He says, you went up against someone you could not beat, and that was your fault.
And that's why Ephraim doesn't pick fights he can't win.
Except against Lucille in Voting Gauntlet.
Oh, shit!
Oof.
He
Okay,
might
look
have
at the
had
two
a better
pictures I
chance
just
if there
sent.
was a multiplayer then, but I think that voting gauntlet is the reason the multiplayer even fucking exists.
You see, but the multiplier is dumb because you shouldn't have a multiplier in a popularity poll.
True.
Yeah, I agree with that as far as a popularity poll goes, because again, it's a popularity contest. Who's gonna win? The most popular. Who's gonna lose?
Instead, we have a voting
But
gauntlet.
the next
People
piece of
say,
that is,
who do you like more? Okay,
Yeah,
you like
yeah.
this person more? Well, the other team gets like a ×8 multiplier, so you liking them doesn't mean anything in my popularity poll.
at the same time, the other half of that is you get those contests where it's Camilla versus anyone with smaller tits.
Oh my god, Mulder does look like Ron Swanson.
Dude, there is a hack where Mulder like slams his staff into the ground and flexes to heal people, and I have never needed something so much in my life.
I saw that GIF on Facebook yesterday, and I need to find it, but I can't find it anywhere. I've been
That
looking
was
for it
awesome.
for a while.
But no, it's like, okay, for starters, Garrick and Heroes win. I'm supporting the fucker. But, like, if he has those endings with Joshua or with Tethys or with Marissa, he has the support he needs to keep on with the life he had before. He's no longer, like, just dealing with everything himself, going through his own problems. Like,
He now has trusted allies who can shoulder his burdens alongside him, which is a good thing.
It's even the strongest warrior out there still needs a shoulder every now and then.
And even looking at his supports with Sayla, I want to call him, Sayla killed his best friend. And ignoring the fact that I already went over how Garrick said, you know what, it happens, he forgave Sayla for it, because Sayla was just defending. That was his life on the line versus Garrick's friend trying to kill him, Sayla did what he needed to do, and Garrick forgives him for it. He doesn't even get agitated at Sayla. He says, "You did what you needed to do. I understand." How strong of a person do you need to be to accept your best friend's death that easily?
I mean, that's just inhuman levels. I mean, I sure as hell couldn't do that.
It's a warrior's mentality, a warrior's lifestyle. Two sides to it on there. You get the people that, well, think they know what they're talking about and go for the whole vengeance game. You slew my father. I dedicate my entire life to killing you.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
And
then you get the people that legitimately dedicate themselves to the life of a mercenary, and when they dedicate themselves to the life of a mercenary, they fucking mean it. That's Garrick.
Garrick didn't even want to be a mercenary. He
grew up in a shithole area, a shithole place, and he had to be in the end.
No, he didn't. He only decided to be a mercenary because his friend wanted to be, and he wanted to watch his friends back.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, but that's not a choice, though.
I've seen it before, but
your mic just did everything wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the things just went wrong with that microphone right there.
Nice job.
I don't know what.
Congrats, Colby. You fucked everything up once again.
I think your microphone just voted
Damn
it.
Your microphone wanted more attention than the stream got.
Oof.
But no, like...
This is fucking great. I love this.
I know.
This is like group cosplay goals right here.
What other characters in Fire Emblem, besides maybe like Takumi or some shit like that, can actually stand up to how much character Garrick had in so little time?
Well, I tell you who can't. Takumi.
Oh, go fuck yourself. Takumi is the best thing to come out of Fates, and I will physically fight you for that.
Best, more like only good.
You may say he's a pineapple, but fuck you guys, I like pineapple on pizza too, so, eh.
I'm
You really are an asshole, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
It's just, being Takumi. Walk outside. Oh no, been corrupted. Time to kill all my friends and family.
Okay, yeah, I'll bring this up in the thing, if I'm even going to be a part of that one. But I will fight for Takumi's honor and everything he does.
Really? Because Takumi's been fighting and searching for his honor. He hasn't found any of it yet.
And you haven't found yours either, so what's your point?
But you see, Takumi,
Sorry. I promise. Stop bragging.
Takumi's just a good boy who just wanted to be loved and appreciated by his family, who was insecure that he'd never live up to be as good as his brother Ryoma.
We can bring this up in Fate.
Yeah.
But for now, like, is there anything else in Sacred Stones, if not like the Game Boy Advance games, that can compare to everything Garrick did, has done, wanted to do? How much you got to see of him?
I don't know about in the Game Boy games because I haven't really played most of the Game Boy games, but I can compare his great character development to Alencia's, like, throughout both the Teleus games.
That's fair.
Oh my god.
But Garrick has all of this in maybe like 15 to 18 support conversations.
Well, Alencia only has 5.
And 2 games.
5 in 1 game, 10 in 2.
I just seen the heroes, like the Fire Emblem Heroes art for La Rochelle. Oh my god.
It's pretty
shoulders though.
He's precious.
It's pretty good, isn't
it? The Rachel's always precious. But no,
I'm still waiting for Fire Emblem Heroes to initiate and or plug in my beloved Beastkin.
Yo, I'm just waiting for my boys Tabaran and Volug.
But till then, I mean, I'm glad that Heroes is at least covering a couple of the older games that not many people have played. It's another similar move like they did originally with Super Smash Brothers and introducing people to the Fire Emblem series as a whole.
But see, then when you talk about Fire Emblem and Smash, everyone shits on the Fire Emblem characters and says there's too many because, and I quote from a discussion in a Smash group yesterday, Nobody fucking plays Fire Emblem.
That's how it was in the first of it. Like Fire Emblem was not popular because it was hard in comparison to other games that were out by Nintendo.
Well, what about goddamn Game & Watch? Where did he come from?
The cool game
himself.
There was literally an entire well, not series, but the Game & Watch handheld.
But now, Corvus.
Yes.
Fire Emblem 6 has a lot of supports, but a lot of the times their characters end up pretty bland. FE7 has a lot of stuff that people just completely ignore, so I want to get people to realize that. Because everyone says, oh, Elwood sucks, Hector's amazing. Well, Elwood's kicked Hector's ass before. But when it comes to character, you have to admit, Garrick has so much.
I've got to, read up on Garrick, because he sounds like a fucking cool guy.
I can tell you why I don't like it.
Because he has a dick and you don't want to get on your knees to suck it.
Whoa.
No.
I try.
Is that my luck with Elwood is just so goddamn poor.
Oh no, Elwood's a very 50-50 unit. His growths are so average across the board that he can end up pretty shit, or he can end up, oh my god. For me, he's always ended up godly enough to, kick Nurgle's ass, which makes me sad because Nurgle needed to be a better boss.
We're having tomatoes.
I mean, his name was Nurgle. He's not going too far.
Yeah, he's in my top 5 for sure. Nurgle, Volter, Arvis, Berkut, and Zephiel are my top 5.
Argue with much of that.
It's really hard to. I mean, people could argue Loin, but I just kind of can't. He doesn't have the character that all the other ones had. He doesn't have the motive. He wanted to help people, which he fucked up. It doesn't to the backstory of Zephiel, where he wanted to have a family. He wanted to be liked by said family. Kind of like to kill me, but worse. He gave his little sister a pet fox, and her dad said, you know what? No, fuck you. Kill the fox, poison the kid. His visions of humanity were shattered. He wanted humanity gone. He wanted the world to be ruled by people who could take care of it. And I can't argue any of that. I relate to Zephiel personally. Maybe not the whole my family's trying to kill me, but just his motives of wanting to get rid of humanity. For what he honestly believes is the better.
When I was wondering about that, because before I even beat Fire Emblem 7, I played a little bit of 6, and it's wait, Zephiel's evil. Well, how is he evil? He's such a nice kid in 7.
You get to see the corruption he went through.
Yeah, I know. I beat the game. It was what you said, the whole poison thing.
His dad also. You go. I don't even know who the fuck's talking right now.
It was Colby.
Okay, Colby, go through.
All right. I don't I know this isn't Sacred Stones, but it relates to both FE7 and Heroes.
Your mic just did the thing
and I just love it.
Damn it. But, the worst part about Zephiel's growing up, I don't even care that it isn't FE8 at this point. We've talked a lot about FE8, and I got a rant about Garrett, so I'm going to do this shit now. You got to see Zephiel, not see it, hear about it. He almost got what he wanted. He wanted his father to like him. He wanted to have a family. And his father said, sure, you know what? I can give you that. Let's be a family. They tried to have dinner, and his dad tried to kill him. As soon as he almost got what he wanted, that's when he was stabbed in the back the worst. What wouldn't that do to,
anyone.
Small kid like he was? Like anyone, but especially because he was still at that really young age, and he was still so hopeful about the world, because his citizens loved him. Everyone in the castle loved him. It was only his family that couldn't tolerate him.
That's just relatable as hell.
Did you see the Linus or not Linus Lloyd thing?
Yes, we saw
What
it.
was it?
Seen it before. Yep.
But nah.
Well, we should probably get it wrapped up soon, guys, because I still got some college work to do today, and I'm in a fucking tornado watch, so.
Okay. A lot of people, I mean, I can always go over this later in like a post in Ayfew or anything like that, but I highly doubt that anyone that doesn't play Fire Emblem is going to be watching this, but if they do, well, sorry for ruining literally everything for you, but there you go.
Yeah,
Sega
this was
Stones
supposed to
is-
get people into the series, not push people away from seeing how shitty the fan
It was
base
supposed to
is.
be like a brief explanation of the story, and instead they got literally everything.
I mean, we did ask Steven about the story.
I said, Steven, bro, give me a brief summary of the story, like, without spoilers, and he
Well-
just tells the whole fucking story.
It was Steven.
I was very much planning to, drop in the side that I stole. Jumped in there. That being Embrem's Fuckfest, that is his storyline and the fun that comes along with it.
Like, I tried to talk about Chapter 5 when Steven was talking, and I'm just like, no, okay. No, it's just not going to happen. I had to do it when he left. Nothing against him. He knows a lot about his favorite game.
He's passionate about Fire Emblem.
And I can't hold that against him. But
I mean, I'm probably gonna be like that when the Path of Radiance one comes around, because, I mean, I've played that game only like 3 times, but it's my favorite game, and I've gotten really into it, in the lore through it, so.
But yeah. It's a good game. A lot of people say it's easy, but if you jump into difficult when you start off, it's kind of not. But abusing the power of Valmy ruins the game.
Yeah, like, I hope that, like, there could be, like, some kind of, like, remake, kind of like what they did with Gaiden, or, like, a sequel, because, like, some of the endings for certain characters would make it seem like, hey, there could be a sequel to this game.
Oh, I desperately hope that Echoes becomes a side name of remakes. That would be amazing.
Agree.
Although I know as an absolute fact, Intelligent Systems is going to disappoint me by either not having some scenes be as grand as they could be, or just
all I'm gonna say is the barbecue scene in Fire Emblem 4, it's gonna look fucking amazing by the time they roll around to making it.
See, I'm questioning that, because they're probably going to end up censoring the shit out of FE4, and they can't do that while keeping the integrity of the game. But the barbecue scene needs to be something that's a grand scene where you realize.
I mean, you've got the frickin' lines of enemies on either side with basically a frickin' meteor coming out of the sky and barbecuing Sigurd. So.
See, like, I had that planned out in my, well, not planned out. I have, like, a really fucked up mind, where when I'm thinking about stuff, I can, like, see it in front of me or happening around me. And I saw that as a scene where, like, maybe not, like, the little grassland that they had it on. Maybe something, like, a little bit more treacherous, so, like, you can already see the characters being slightly uneasy. And then when Arva says, you're a traitor, you see, like, majors come out from, like, rocks or stuff behind that. The camera pans up and you see, like, all the fireballs, meteors coming out of the sky. You see the horror on Sigurd's face as he watches what happens. Turns around, looks at Arvis, and you see Arvis is, like, smiling because he believes that what he's doing is right. And he roasts Sigurd alive right there. They can't censor that. They can't, like, try to downplay that. That needs to be, like, Renee's scene on steroids. If you haven't played Echoes, then whoops. But already said it.
I was about to say the same thing with, like, the Renea and Berkut thing from Echoes.
It needs to.
I'm in the middle of a live stream. Dallas already told me.
Scene. Otherwise, I will be kind of disappointed.
Yes, I understand. I'm in the middle of a stream. I'm muted right now.
Picture thing, like, I've seen this so many times, but, like, it's so relatable.
Yes, I posted that in the group a while back.
Well, guys, I guess we should, like, get to wrapping this up.
Wrap this one up.
Because, like, I got severe weather alerts going on here, and I still got some college shit to do while I still have power, so.
Good luck. Good luck not die.
Yeah, for starters, don't die, because if you die, like, well, fuck you, I'm going to kill you again. But
bring me back to life just to kill me again. Way to go.
Yeah, I'm going to, like, torture your corpse until you come back to life to say, dude, fucking stop, I get it. And I'm going to bitch slap you so hard you die again. Like, this is what you get from me for dying. It's bitch slap, neck snaps. But no.
Because I got severe tornadoes and thunderstorm warnings just blasting here, so.
But yeah. I got to.
Good, guys.
Fuck you.
Fire Emblem Sacred Stones.
We're not ending on that. I got to debate, which is something I really rarely get to do a lot of the time, because a lot of people are uncivilized about it. But I got to have actual debates. I got to rant about what I wanted to rant about. Same. Hoping the whole maybe 45 people that saw this enjoyed it. Because, like, I don't know. It's not something you get to see in the community a lot of the times. And I'm hoping more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the last podcast was like. We had some great, genuine discussion and debates and stuff. And the first one was chaotic because we had technical difficulties all over the place for the first half hour and we kept having to restart. But we've really got the hang of this now, and they've been really enjoyable. I've been glad being able to discuss some of the lore of the series with my friends and just talking about Fire Emblem, because, I mean, I joined the communities on Facebook because I can't get this anywhere else, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always up for a good debate, and I'm like an incredibly opinionated person, like what you saw with Garrick and the barbecue scene from FE4, among any other conversations we've had outside of it. But even if it's a game like I don't have much experience in, I'd enjoy being a part of these podcasts again.
Hey, thanks for the sub, Dashnak. I just got notifications, though.
I also subbed you, too.
Yeah, thanks, Cobb.
Also,
I'm gonna go because the fucking glass is shaking here, so I'm gonna end this stream now, okay, guys?
You guys,
Bye, everybody.
Have a good one, everyone. See you guys in 2 weeks when we do Fates.